biggest challenges of managing a fleet of trucks, tractor trailers, and material handling equipment? Hassling with maintenance, repair, and vehicle breakdown. Transervice's dedicated contract maintenance service, DCM, takes that hassle away. We maintain your fleet, no matter what the configuration, to the highest standards, while giving you the greatest cost control. We offer preventative maintenance executed to maximum utilization, equipment life, and necessary repairs, all tracked by a state-of-the-art paperless computerized system. Assistance with equipment engineering, configuration, including new engine technology, and onboard computers for your fleet, as well as dedicated fleet contract maintenance. Dedicated on-site service facilities staffed with management and certified maintenance technicians, inventories of parts, tires, and fluids, and all necessary shop equipment, diagnostic tools, and technology. Supporting services such as equipment inspections and assistance with meeting regulatory requirements, DOT, OSHA, EPA. Contact us today to learn about our turnkey contract maintenance solutions. It's all about the experience, yours and ours.
Hey, I'm CTWE wrestler The Mac.
And I'm Showtime Stevie Stamos.
Have you ever dreamed of owning your own race car and taking it out for a test drive? Well, thanks to our friends at Rent a Race Car, you can!
Visit www.rentaracecarne.com for all the details on how you can take one of these babies out to Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll see you at the races.
Touchdown!
Have you seen my kick-ass subscription box anywhere? Oh, there it is.
Hello and welcome into the SIM500 Transervice Cup Series on Vidane TV. The Cup Series makes its return to Music City tonight for the Transervice Cup action at the Nashville Super Speedway. Paul Showtime Strickland is in the production trailer with his finger on the dials, ready to light up the night, and he's doing double duty tonight as Tim has the week off. Paul, it's race 16, and this event requires each driver to be up on the wheel if they want to get a good result.
100%, Kevin. Great to be here tonight. Tim Terry doing some real racing stuff up in Maritime Canada. And you can always check out his Facebook page, facebook.com/TimsCornerCA. Find out what Tim and the boys are up to up in the eastern part of Canada, all the racetracks they've got going on here. But here tonight, Nashville Super Speedway, we saw a phenomenal race here last Thursday live on Vidane TV with the Multi-League Cup Series. A great race, a little bit shaky at the start. A couple of drivers brand new to this racetrack as it just came out in the iRacing sim last week. But you can see still a bunch of powerhouses up front. Look at that top 5. Daniel Falkingham, the number 35 with the 29.223 to get the pole. Kevin King on the outside, followed by Pedro Mojica, Trey Edson, and Justin Fuller. And you can see the rest of the starting order going across through your screen right there, Kevin. This is going to be a phenomenal race.
This is an outstanding racetrack. A bunch of different grooves, a bunch of different ways to track it. I think strategy is going to play in. And, well, we have a lot of guys returning tonight. Josh Parker's back with us. David Comstock back from vacation. He spent a little time at the Emerald Isle, which is near the Outer Banks. And, well, we have a full field of drivers here. And the general consensus is this is the first time the Cup Series has run this racetrack. And they're pretty excited about it. These drivers seem to have a shine to this racetrack.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of drivers here take the call, 36 to be exact. There you can see Gerald Livingston rounding out the bottom of the field. And man, oh man, up front, Kevin King, Daniel Falkingham. Kevin King, kind of the Kyle Larson of the SIM500 Transervice Cup Series here. He won the All-Star race last week, and he did a little bit of road course winning 2 weeks ago. So Kevin King on an absolute roll, trying to move himself up into the points to try and grasp that championship towards the end of the season. But if he's going to win tonight, he's got 35 other cars to beat.
Yeah, Falkingham leads the points over Pedro Mojica. He's got about 100 markers on him, and he's looking to extend that gap here as we're getting ready to throw the green flag. For 150 laps of racing action, green flag is out, and Daniel Falkingham's going to hop on that throttle and head to turn number 1.
Nice even start by the guys up front. The 88 up on the high side, the 39 down low, and company is with them. 2x2 all the way through the field as they come out of turn number 2. Here, the very first race at the Nashville Super Speedway for the SIM500 bunch, and you can see these cars are getting up to speed as they shoot on down to turn number 3.
King got a great jump to the outside. You can get a lot of momentum up there. Falkingham could not get to that corner panel to side draft to pull him back. Unable to stay underneath him, which is what he needed to do. King going to lead lap number 1. Falkingham slots into second.
Top 4 drivers, single files, double wide back there for P5. Omar Diallo trying to hold off Justin Fuller and does so. Slides up in front of him here, and you can see the distance on this race, 150 laps. Each lap, 1.33 miles, exactly half the distance of Talladega Super Speedway. You got to wonder, Kevin, if that was something that by design.
Yeah, this racetrack, a little unique in the fact that, like its sister track for the people who own it, Dover, it's an all-concrete surface. It makes it really interesting coming up off the corner because the grip levels change. And the track has some character to it when you go through turns 3 and 4 right here. Right in the middle, there's a little bump, and you go over, and that's about where you pick up the throttle, and it can loosen the car up. And, well, you see these drivers, especially Trey Edson, loose up off the corner until these tires heat up.
Getting a little bit of conveyor belt action throughout the field. A lot of single file, a lot of give and take. For a lot of these drivers, it's the first time they're on track this close with another car. We did have about an hour practice earlier on today before the race, and all throughout the week these drivers have been practicing as well, but not quite as much time on this track as the other tracks on the schedule. Again, iRacing.com, the simulator that these guys are running here this evening, just came out with this track last week, and we saw the phenomenal race on Thursday night. A lot of fuel mileage, a lot of fuel strategies, a lot of different strategies throughout the race. It was pretty cool to see. And the surface of this racetrack, very, very rough, as we saw in the NASCAR Cup race this past weekend. So after about 30 laps or so, maybe even before that, for some of these guys that are driving really hard, like the 48 car way up high, Omar Diallo trying to make up some ground, tires going to wear off pretty quickly here.
The stripe side by side. Glenn Campbell in the Transervice number 44 Camaro. He's on the high line. There goes the 81 of Adam Gilliland trying to make the charge out of turn number 2 to the backstretch. Hard to get all the track position because the car on the outside prevents you from sweeping up. A lot of times you see exactly what we just saw. Campbell able to charge ahead, drive down, and secure that slot. He's going to hold that 7th position.
Biggest mover on the night so far has got to be that number 43 car, Doug Roth, running in at the 24th position. He's up 8 spots since that green flag, working at lap number 7 as they cross the stripe there, and doing a great job holding on to that car in front of him, the 95 Joshua Williams. He's up 7 spots, and it's great to see some of these guys that started kind of towards the back working their way up towards the front. It looks like the biggest loser at this point, don't want to call him a loser, but Randy Yoakum down 14 spots, running P last there in 36. So I wonder if we had a little bit of contact there. Up front, still Kevin King holding on to the lead. Status quo, as it were. Daniel Falkingham right behind him. He's got a mirror full of Pedro Mojica and Trey Edson. And Justin Fuller trying to make a five-way dance of it. But don't look now, Omar Diallo finally moves that 48 car down to the bottom side. He's going to see what he can do and maybe do a little bit of research at this point, as you can see Glenn Payne on the outside of the 44 Transervice Camaro trying to make something happen on the outside. Has a little bit of help with one of those personal comfort machines. That 51 dives back down. Check that. That's the 81 of Adam Gillen. Dives down low, kind of back and forth, trying to figure out who he wants to push towards the front.
Different car, the Xfinity car, but we watched the Xfinity race. In fact, I participated in it the other night, and the 44 of Campbell, he had a little something for it. He seems to have a shine to this racetrack, and he just took over that 7th position from Omar. Omar was looking underneath the car in front of him, the 51, and just could not get the job done. And when he stalled out, that opened the opportunity for the 44 to pass, and that is a pretty conventional way. Now, a lot of these drivers talked about how clean air matters and also about how tire wear matters. Paul, what they say is you can drive the corner two ways. You can drive it in hard, attack the corner, or you can attack coming off the corner to the straightaway. When you drive it in hard, you wear the right front. When you attack the corner, you wear the right rear coming off. And these drivers talked about tire wear. They've got to save you, because even though the track is brand new, it sure seems like long runs are the order of the day for this racetrack.
Absolutely. You can see there's a couple of different racing grooves, and it's still earlier on here in this one, working at lap number 12 of 150. And I think once we get further on into this race and closer towards the end, we'll see a lot of different styles of racing and a lot of different lines that these guys are going to be able to use. And I really do think fuel mileage is going to end up being a thing, and I think we're going to be working with some tire wear as well.
65, 68 laps thereabouts on fuel, and let's talk about a couple trouble spots for this racetrack. You're trying to get as much as you can to arc the car down into turn one. As the drivers come in, right now you see that side-by-side battle. You could sweep up and slap the wall, cause right rear damage to the car. Same here coming off of turn number 2. You can clip the apron, and the car does tend to be really free coming off of turn number 4. You could lose it and get sideways there and end up down in the grass. It's a tricky racetrack. You really got to be careful with your throttle here.
100%. They're still side-by-side for position, and you can see Josh Parker waiting in the wings there in the number 23 car, trying to see where he can go. And you can see different colors behind him in the 33 car. Byron Daly actually running a Cancer Sucks car, an old Dale Earnhardt throwback machine. Get Well Dave on the hood. That is directed towards team owner Dave Lanza, who unfortunately right now is recovering from lung cancer and actually survived pancreatic cancer back in 2017 and now fighting off the lung cancer. And as we all know, cancer sucks. It is a bear to work with, but man, we hope you get better, Dave. 88 or the 33 car rather, working the special colors there in the Cancer Sucks rides. And looks like we got caution on the speedway for the very first time here, Kevin, on lap number 15.
So the driver's going to circle in behind Kevin King and collect the pace car over there in turn number 1. Not sure what the caution was for, probably somewhere out in the back, maybe involved the 54 car.
That's what it's looking like. Pulling up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay right now. Jimmy Coleman pointed in the wrong direction. You can see back here running with the 45, the 3, the 00, and almost went 3 wide, but unfortunately that 00 car of Matthew Karikoff was down low and made a little bit of contact, sent him on around. He is able to grab a gear and get on rolling once again. But it looks like the damage very minimal on that car, but definitely going to have to come down pit road, see if he can't get himself a set of tires, maybe a little bit of Sunoco race fuel. And I think at this point, 15 laps on these tires, Kevin, these guys might be coming down pit road and getting some service.
Your drivers have 4 sets of tires for this race. I think it might actually be a little early. I'd be surprised if they come in, but we'll see if any takers are going to go in. We see a couple swerves, but no, nobody's going to go. Oh, we do have a couple takers. 2 or 3 cars drop off. I don't believe. We see the 30 of Macklin going in. Richard Beasley's going in. See Josh Williams going in. For these drivers out in the back, Tim, they got nothing to lose. They can get on a different pit cycle, and possibly that'll pay dividends later in the race.
So about half the field coming down pit road at this point, it looks like. The top, we'll see once timing and scoring squares itself away here. Almost exactly half the top 19 drivers stay out, and they're led by Kevin King, who is still out front in that 88 car. Daniel Falkingham second, Pedro Mojica, Trey Edson, and Glenn Campbell rounding out the top 5. And it's pretty cool to see this race unfold early on at Nashville Superspeedway. Again, the first time we've taken the green flag here in the SIM500 Transervice Cup Series, and it's been a great race here so far. Very clean, a lot of give and take, but I think a lot of that give and take is probably going to shrink and start going one way towards the end of this race.
I think universally looking down on pit road, I didn't see anybody changing tires. The 9 of Wetzel was in, Henderson in. Little damage to Randy Yoakum. You talked about the downfall that he had in the beginning. The left rear of the Snap Mobile Shop Camaro is crinkled. Richard Beasley stopped in and topped off. So did Tyler Dalton, Kevin Brown, Jose Gonzalez. I think there might have been right side tires go on the 30 of Brian Macklin, but for the most part, everybody just stopped in, topped off for fuel. And, we talked about it before. When you're sweeping up off those corners, you can brush the right side against the wall, and even a nick of damage will slow you down here. So if any of these drivers had any sense of damage, they're going to go in and get some repairs.
Now, last Thursday with the Multi-League Cup Series, we ended up running 100 laps for their race on Thursday night, and the first 30 laps, we ended up seeing a couple of cautions. I believe there was 3 cautions for the entire race. They ran the last 70 laps under green flag, had to come down and make green flag pit stops twice to get to the end of the race. So this is going to be a little bit on the interesting side. We're working lap 18. I think we're going to get the restart here on lap 19. As you can see, everybody's getting doubled up here, and the lights are off on that iRacing pace car. So it's going to be interesting. If we end up going for a long green flag run, some of these drivers have to field towards the back of this pack. They've got more fuel, so it's going to be interesting to see. We might be looking at some strategy already.
Yeah, I think Brian Macklin, our broadcaster from last week, thank you very much, Brian, for letting me run the Transervice Toyota. He did change 4 tires and filled it up with fuel.
So that's going to be fun to watch, watching that number 30 machine try and make his way up through the field. But here we go. There goes the iRacing pace car. Nice slow restart, and there you can see the 88 car getting shot out of a cannon. That the team on the hood already has about 5 or 6 car lengths shooting on down to turn number 1.
By side all the way through the pack, as is customary, through turns 1 and 2. No contact, clean to the back straightaway. Watch one car way low down there that's the 97 car, dropping off slow on the backstretch. Not sure if he has a penalty. Gerald Livingston, we'll see whether or not he heads to pit road. I think it was the 97. Let me double peek. Yeah, the 97 Livingston dropping back. Car is slow and off the pace, but he continues past pit road, so he's going to carry through.
Position 1 and 2, Daniel Falkingham trying to chase down Kevin King. Side by side behind him, looking at the battle for third right now, Trey Edson trying to eke out over Pedro Mojica down on the bottom side, and you can see that 5 is really starting to stick in that middle groove. He's going to try and get up further and further in position. Whoa, big move there by Adam Hill, and shooting all the way down to the bottom of the track, using that apron to try and get that car to turn, and it looks like he's going to hold on to 5th for right now.
Yeah, front stretch banking here is at 9 degrees. It's deceptively steep. When you drop down, it does loosen the car quite a bit. You got to be careful coming back up to the racing surface that the car doesn't get loose. And he made it pay dividends. He's charging off of turn number 4 around the outside of Pedro Mojica. Give Adam Gilliland that 5th position. He set sail chasing Trey Edson. Edson proves very fast at this racetrack, sitting in that 3rd position right now.
You can see as we get a couple laps into this green flag run, starting to get single file throughout the top cars. And Justin Fuller dropping back just a little bit. Looks like he's stuck up on that high side. There he is behind the number 99 of Tommy Rhyne. And there you can see he's going to make it 3 wide, going all the way up. Tommy Rhyne in the middle, Mike Kelly in that number 2 car down in the bottom. And Justin Fuller going to make it work. And he's going to keep on moving up towards the front of the pack, all over the back bumper of Chad Coleman, who we haven't talked about too much this afternoon.
EJ O'Rourke to the high side out of turn number 2 on the outside of the 51 of Justin Fuller, trying to get the position, not able to do it. Tucks back down. A lot of drivers realize sometimes they just got to give up the ghost and come back down. Fuller with a huge charge, good run through 3 and 4. He drives around Chad Coleman and made that pass easy.
That personal comfort number 51 looks like it's handling very comfortably as he's moving his way up to the 11th position. And you can see he wants more all over the back bumper now of Robert Gillenwater in the number 4 car. He's going to peek down low, try and get some air on the nose of that Mustang. Now he's going to try it up on the high side and make it look easy. Justin Fuller, give him at that 10th position. He's up in the top 10.
Have the track figured out. They feel a little more comfortable about how hard to drive it down in the corner and who they're racing against. The 38 of Chad Coleman down underneath Gillenwater to the high side. Drivers wanted to make that high side work, but universally everybody said the bottom line was the place to be. The challenge is when you're on the bottom, as I said earlier, you can't use all of the racetrack coming off the corner, and it stalls the car out, gives the car on the outside a chance to get back and get that position back. But Chad Coleman executing the pass, he's going to take that position from Gillenwater.
A little bit of bumper car action between the number 51 of Justin Fuller and the number 44 of Glenn Campbell, but they gather it back up and nobody goes in the wrong direction. That's one direction Justin Fuller is going, though, is up towards the front. You can see he closes right in the back of Omar Diallo and the number 48 Ally Machine. He's going to go up on the high side. He is making that outside line work. I wonder if he came down. He must have come down and got fresh tires his last caution.
Did you just say one direction?
I did. So I was hoping you didn't catch that.
Out front, it continues to be Kevin King. The story's not very complicated. He's been able to get out front, and I know Daniel's just begging to see if he could find some fresh air, clean air right there in that number 39. It's still very early, working lap number 27. Falkingham has not let King get away. What a great restart King got in that 88.
100%. And with Kevin King, he's been racing here in the SIM500 Cup Series by Transervice for about a couple of months now, and it took him a little while to get used to some of the drivers here and get used to his winning ways on sim racing. Been around sim racing for a very, very long time, known to many as the godfather of sim racing. And that first victory came 2 weeks ago on the road course, and then he came in and he won last week in the All-Star race at Kansas. And now he's leading the race here. He's led all 29 laps, and looking really strong here at Nashville Superspeedway.
Yeah, just as we were talking down the front stretch and through turns 1 and 2, Falkingham had a good lap, closed right into the back bumper, and he is in the tire tracks. But as soon as I say that, there goes the 51 of Justin Fuller by to that second position, showing a little speed in the personal comfort Ford. He's now on the back bumper giving chase.
Taking a look at the lap times from the last 5 laps. Kevin King down in the bottom, Justin Fuller on top of the score, and that's going to flip-flop real quick. Justin Fuller going to that high side, making it work side by side, coming out of the corner, give that spot to Justin Fuller. But they're still side-by-side, bumper to bumper. Looks like Kevin King's going to give him just a little bit of room, and he's going to try and come back down, but to no avail. Justin Fuller to the point.
Top 30 new leader, Justin Fuller out front, Kevin King sitting there in second, and here comes Brian Macklin on the charge. We saw Macklin change 4 tires, and he's putting them to good use. He looks high, and now he's going to drive low. I think he's going to get enough speed to get down underneath King. Going into turn number 4, I'm sure King knows. Fresh tires, fresh Goodyears on that number 30. King slams the door through turns 3 and 4. Macklin on the charge. He's going to drive down underneath. He gets to the quarter panel. Door, front bumper, side by side. Nose is out front. Brian Macklin to second.
Door bumper clear, the spotter says for Brian Macklin. He moves himself into the P2 spot. sets aside on the back bumper of Justin Fuller there in the number 51. And that right there is why you want fresher tires. These guys came down at lap 15 when we had our very first caution here tonight. 4 tires and fuel is the name of the game, and you can see right now 15, 16 laps later, those 2 drivers are running 1 and 2. Kevin King, Daniel Falkingham back there. They're waiting to get some tires, hoping for a caution to come out. We'll see if we end up getting some green flag stops, but hey, look at that. Ryan Macklin all the way up to the point.
33 new leader, Brian Macklin out front. Your top 10 running right now, nose to tail. Everybody just kind of settled in now. This is the question for Macklin. Mission accomplished. Change those tires. Tires tend to even up here, and I feel like, having run this track twice this week, you can keep the pace pretty well. Track position is hard, and even if your tires have fallen off a little bit, as long as you don't abuse that right front and pick up a push where you can't hold the car low, it's really difficult to pass here. So maybe Macklin's in the catbird seat through the beginning to the middle of this race.
In a really good spot to set the pace of the race. He's got fresh tires with him behind him with Justin Fuller, and then everybody else pretty much still on the original set of tires from the start of this race. So he's going to be running pretty quick, but you can see Daniel Falkingham and Kevin King, Trey Edson, still running right up with them. He hasn't gone too far out into the distance, so that's definitely good news for some of these guys on older tires. And as we turn more and more laps here, Kevin, it's really gonna even out the tires, and you'll be able to see a pretty even gap between the top 4 cars there.
This is where I feel like we're going to get to that stage where I talked about the cars are going to spread out. Now you end up, because track position is so hard, focused on the race of the car in front of you. One at a time, knock it down like soldiers. See if you can get a good corner. Watch the intervals between you and the car in front of you. Look to see if you can change your entry. You can really arc the car, go up wide and swing the car in and get down to that yellow line. Ease off the gas, and then midway through, pick up the throttle and gain a little bit. A lot of these drivers are playing games here, trying to figure out how to get themselves a little bit of track position to go forward and challenge the driver in front of them.
Take a look on your screen right now, the second half of the top 10. Pedro Marica down low, the number 81 of Adam Gilliland up high. That's the battle for 6. Omar Diallo in the 48 running in the 9th, check that 7th position. He's going to get up, try and get up around Pedro. Glenn Campbell, Byron Daly, and Chad Coleman through 11th position. And Chad having a really good, contact between Pedro Mojica and Omar Diallo. The 48 is going to try and hold on to it. Gets that thing woed up, gives the outside wall a little bit of a kiss. But unfortunately, caution number 2 going to come out here on lap 38. And that's going to take a lot of the strategy here and throw it out the door because everybody is going to be coming down pit road this time. I'm almost sure of it.
Yeah, you could almost bank on that. The 58 just drifted high. It's hard to hold the car down there. Got up into Diallo, and they just ran out of racetrack up there. Good job by the rest of the drivers forecasting what they saw and staying out of that. We'll go to the Kong Beer Bong replay and get a little of that action coming off of turn number 4.
There you can see a couple of big hits for Pedro Mojica in that 58 car, but he is able to continue on going, and the 48 comes to a screeching halt, leaving a little bit of rubber on the track, but doesn't damage the car too much. Does an awesome job holding onto that brake pedal to make sure that he doesn't back up into the racing groove, and everybody else gets on by with no problem. So heads up driving there by the 48 machine of Omar Diallo. And caution number 2, Brian Macklin up front, and I got a feeling here, Kevin, pit road going to be a busy spot.
Yeah, especially in the crew up on the wall for the 48 of Diallo. The front end of that car wrinkled quite a bit, but he did an excellent job not to nose that thing into the front stretch. And everybody down 45 miles an hour, and I suspect it'll be 4 tires and fuel for the entire field.
As our friend Tim Terry would say, feeding time at the zoo, and the zoo is packed. Everybody on pit road. All 36 drivers in this field still on the lead lap here on lap number 40. And it's, I got a feeling you might see 1, maybe 2 drivers try a 2-tire stop. But I think the order of the night is going to be 4 tires and fuel here for caution number 2.
I was watching Joey Jottina. He's still trying to find his pit box. Not a lot of luck for the 14. First pit stop sometimes is a bugger for these drivers. I'm so guilty of that. I'm awful on pit road. Joey now, right side tires going on. Crew's coming around for left side tires as almost the entire field has driven off. Robert Gillenwater sitting there in his pit box. I suspect he's fixing a little bit of damage on the JDRF one walk number 4. A couple other drivers sitting there. Of course, Omar Diallo, they're working on the front end of that car. And Pedro, who was involved in that, going to fix a little damage for him too. Damage is something that you're going to need to fix all of it as much as you can. And they have quite a bit of time here on pit road, Paul, to get things straightened out. But they're going to lose a lot of track position.
Absolutely. We can pull up the pit road strategy here, the pit stop time, and you can see just what we have here. Relatively smooth pit stops for everybody in the 14-second range. You can see Chad Coleman with an 11.3. He came down. He got 2 tires. He's going to be restarting third on the inside behind our leader, Kevin King.
Yeah, 2 tire change, it looks like, for Macklin, as to be expected, since he changed 4 tires before. These drivers will alternate lefts and rights if that's the way the strategy is going to play out. But lap 40, caution on the front stretch for our 2 cars in the top 5, and this is going to re-rack everybody. And as we said before, Paul, when the cars are all tight together, it's the best opportunity to get some positions.
We've been seeing on these restarts, only the couple that we've had, about 5, 6, 7 laps or so of side-by-side racing, and then everybody kind of fans out and gets single file. So a really good opportunity. Fresh feel-goods on the bottom of this race car and a full tank of Sunoco race fuel. These guys are definitely going to be battling for position and working at lap number 42 once we hit the stripe and get the restart. The iRacing, not the iRacing Mustang, the non-gender specific iRacing pace car pulling off down onto pit road. Easy enough for me to say. Brian Macklin, Kevin King on the restart. Hammer down for Kevin King. Green flag in the air. Another fantastic restart for that number 88 car.
Yeah, King able to assume the lead after pit stops back out front, and I suspect, like the beginning of the race with fresh tires, he's going to be fast. We'll see how this plays up. Big swing for Kevin Brown out of turn number 2. He's able to collect it before he got to the fences. Yeah, these drivers using all the racetracks. Saw another driver swing way low over there on the backstretch. That might have been, well, the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. Not had a good run, slipped quite a bit back, but hopefully fresh tires will make his car a little better for him.
Big slip up for the 38 of Chad Coleman. Where the heck did he come from? Where the heck is he going? He's stuck on the high side now, going backwards all the way back.
Parachutes out on that car, yeah.
He's going to have to cut the ropes off of that, but it looks like he's going to find a spot behind Richard Beasley, who is running in that 17th position. But, man, you see, right after these restarts, everybody running really strong. Josh Parker in the 23 trying to hold off Scott Simley. Holy moly, easy enough for me to say. This is why you and Tim do this stuff, and I just push the buttons. But you can see Josh Parker moving on up into the top 10, and that Interstate Battery Bud Light machine looking really good. He's going to try and move up to that top half of the top 10.
I saw it battle for the lead out of turn number 4. Falkingham got the charge down the backstretch, drove to the door of the 88. Kevin King, strong on the outside, trying to keep that position. Here comes Falkingham, dives down into turn number 1, still side by side through the apex. Coming off the corner, King's got the momentum. Falkingham still hanging tough. Can he pull over at side draft? He's not going to be able to do it. And, well, joining the party, the 81, Adam Gilliland to the outside. Falkingham slips back, but Gilliland trying to wrestle away the position.
Yeah, it was almost easy enough to say that Daniel Falkingham had a little bit of help from Adam Gilliland, but it didn't quite look that way. He was just waiting to see if Falkingham would make a mistake, and there was no mistakes made. That 81 car was very, very good on the high side. Gets up and around the number 39 machine. He moves into that second spot and sets his sights now on the lead. You can see Byron Daly moving on up in the 4th position, and Trey Edson rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, everybody on pit road is watching that event. The 39 made the charge, tried to get it, could not get it, and it cost him second position. When you're on that low line, pinching the car down, coming up off the corner, you can't carry the speed. Car to the high side has the advantage. Adam Gilliland to second. Kevin King looking back in his notebook, watching what was going on there, and he knows later on he's got to make sure he commits to that high line and is not going to let the car drive down from underneath him.
Single file now for the better part of the top 10, and looks like even further on back, Joshua Williams, Scott Simley battling for the 10th and 11th spot, and you can see that has now subsided. Josh Williams trying to get up around Josh Parker. He's up to 9th place, and you can see great running here. David Comstock, Nelson Rivero, E.J. O'Rourke right in a group here, and pretty tight all the way through. E.J. O'Rourke, Richard Beasley, Doug Roth, Kevin DeBrown, and Mike Montesi all in this group. Doug Roth doing a great job in that 43 car, up 16 spots on the night. Same number for Mike Montesi in the 45 car. Don't talk about, or haven't talked about him too much tonight. He's up 16 spots, running in the 18th position.
And while we tend to sometimes focus on the front cars, those guys in the back race as hard or harder than anybody out front a lot of times wrestling those positions. And to see Doug Roth come through and Mike Montesi as far as they have, and you know, Richard Beasley, he's hanging tough in that group too, having a good run in the Tide number 10.
Pretty much single file throughout the track here. Status quo up front. Kevin King still leads Adam Gilliland in the second position. Daniel Falkingham slipping on back to third, but he's still very much a contender in this race. Byron Daly and Trey Edson still up in the top 5 as well. Single file, a little bit of conveyor belt action right now, but we've seen after pit stops, after tires, not done racing here tonight. 100 laps to go as we cross the stripe.
Yeah, coming back to Byron Daly, a little loose off of turn number 2 before it allowed him to slip back, but he was hunting that number 39 of Daniel Buckingham. I'm going to say this, now driving in the familiar 08 red, white livery Budweiser Chevy Monte Carlo SS. He hails from San Leandro, California. It's David Lanza. That's the call I used to make back in 2006, 7 when David used to race with us. He's a veteran of sim racing. He's been I'm a bit of a historian there, Paul, sometimes, because I have notes back to 1990s with sim racing. And, back in the day with the likes of Jordan McGregor, Ray Afala, Steve Minson, Carl Dotson, and other familiar names. We have Jason Williams and Michael Sharp used to race back with us back then. And Dave was no slouch, man. He was a good wheelman. I saw notes from a race where I think it was race 10 of the 2007 series for SIM500. He won at Richmond, which is a tough track to hold off the likes of that group that I mentioned. And we're just thinking of Dave and wishing him the best. And David Lanza, Byron Daly doing a good job for you right now, solidly in that top 5 for that number 33.
Most definitely. And back in 2006, we were doing our own thing over in the Verdane Racing World. Steve Lavender and myself. That name does sound familiar. He's the guy that owns and operates and created Trading Paints and a lot of the other sim racing tools and tricks that a lot of people use throughout the iRacing community. Steve needed a high school project for business management. We decided to put together a league, and it worked out very, very well, and the rest is history. Verdane Racing SIM500 never really crossed paths up until last year when we put together that culmination or cooperation league there with the SIM500 Verdane Racing Super Speedway Series. And as we all know, Richard Beasley won that championship belt provided by Pro-Am Belts, and has a penciled-in date for a Rent a Race Car Street Stock rental at Stafford Motor Speedway. Going to try and get him in this fall. If it doesn't work out, we'll get him in for next spring. But lots of excitement there, and it's really cool to see 2 different leagues, 2 different groups going as far back as 2006 and beyond. And Kevin, it's cool to be working with you in the booth, because you used to call a lot of those races I was in 103 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember, Paul. And like I said, I've seen some of these drivers. Josh Williams, I'm riding with him right now, sitting in that 8th position. Man, he's had a good run tonight. 22 positions up, and he's one of the names I just called. I saw Josh in the notes from 2005, 6. He's been racing that long, and he's still got it here, running in the top 10 with some of the most, I could say it, some of the best talent in the internet right here in SIM500. When you had King and Falkingham and Williams sitting there in the top 5 in points. I was looking at one of the races back from 2004. Mike Kelly won that race. in the number 2, and Kelly's having a good night here running in the 6th position.
Since we're stepping in the way back right in that same group, Brian Macklin was actually in one of the very first leagues that I ever ran in, FTSR, Full Throttle Sim Racing, and I believe he still races with them every now and again. FTSR.net, check those guys out. It's a fixed setup league as well, and it's really cool to see Macklin doing very well here in SIM500. Competition levels really unmatched. One of the best sim racing leagues, best iRacing leagues. These guys have a lot of talent in throughout, as we can see Daniel Falkingham taking a quick peek at that second spot, going down low on Adam Gilliland, not quite there. Looks like he might just be trying to get a little bit of air on the nose, try and cool it off just a little bit. But he might also be doing his homework here, Kevin, trying to figure out where Adam's line is, where he shifts it, where he might change it, see if he can maybe get a little bit closer to that lead.
Right now, this is where they do that study and try to figure out whatever they can to get speed on the racetrack. Sometimes you just tweak your entry, tweak your exit. They're going to back and talk about the story for Omar Diallo, involved in our latest incident. He's currently running in the 25th position. And he's side-by-side battle right now. Gillen Waters right there with him, and so is Eric Arnold in that number 31 Exide Ford. They're just trying to make... Boy, when you're so fast, but you're so deep in the field, and maybe he's got a little bit of damage, but he's able to secure that 25th position, and now they're running up on the 3 of Jeff Rhyne and the 54 of Jimmy Coleman. So the field is stretched out right now. Quite a big gap between some of these drivers.
You can see Pedro Mojica, not the night he was looking for after that incident there in the 58 car. A little bit of 3-wide action, thinks better of it. He's going to tuck back in the tire tracks there of Gillenwater. Pedro running way back in 29th position. Caution out on the speedway once again. See if we can take a look at what went on here.
Yeah, it looks like the 38 just lost it out of turn number 2. Justin Fuller had a windshield full of that. We'll go to the Kong Beer Bong replay and watch. Well, that 38 just flat out lost it.
And as you recall, the 38 car came down pit road under that last caution and only took 2 tires, moved himself up into the 3rd spot, and car wasn't handling the way it should have been. He dropped a lot of positions, as you can see. It's coming off of turn number 2, loses the back end of the race car. The flaps come up on the top to make sure he doesn't do a little bit of a flyover. He's going to do some farming down there in the grass, get back up on the apron, and continue on rolling out. Don't even think he hit first gear there, so that's good news there. No damage on the 38. Definitely a call for tires, though.
Yeah, 4 fresh Goodyears are going to be required there. And if I look at Chad Coleman, one of the things that Chad Coleman has on lock is 750 plus races, probably the most races by far of any of the drivers in the series. He's just here all the time putting in laps, and now it's time again, feeding time at the zoo. King hangs a left, and oh wow, did you see that, Paul? Everybody else went back up out on the racetrack.
So again, about half the field, it looks like, coming down pit road. Adam Gill and Daniel Falkingham, Byron Daly all staying out. Brian Macklin and Mike Kelly as well staying out. So Kevin King, kind of a sitting duck. He's going to get put towards the back of the pack, and I think this is one of the ways that these drivers know, one of the only ways you might be able to get around Kevin King here. Very strong at Nashville Super Speedway, and it's going to give an opportunity to the old Giller up front to try and hold on to the lead some laps here, and maybe see what that car can do up in clean air.
And fuel was the call for the 88, Pedro Mojica on pit road, the 5 of Trey Edson, EJ O'Rourke, Josh Williams. So a lot of drivers followed suit, but I am surprised at Falkingham. Maybe some of these drivers decided they watched how fast Macklin was on fresh tires. They figured they'd keep one in the vault.
You can see there the top 20 drivers staying out on pit road. 23 laps on a set of tires. Going to be a little bit slower, but not too far off the pace, I don't think. Kevin King, the first driver off pit road, in 19th position. So that might very well be the car to watch, as he's going to try and move himself back up to the front. Going to get that restart probably working right around lap 65.
We're going to have a new leader for the restart, of course, and we'll get to see how that's going to work out. Looks like the 81 of Adam Gilliland is going to be at the point. One of the things that it does, Paul, it changes the restart dynamics. Kevin King goes fast, he goes early. We've seen him get those big jumps. Will the 81 of Gilliland bring him down to the start the same way? The reason that matters is who's sitting right there, the 39, Falkingham. Falkingham wants clean hair. I promise you, he wants to be out front.
And he's going to try again from the outside of row number 1. And one of the things we really have to commend iRacing for is these quickie yellows. The league owners are now able to decide how many laps they want to run under caution. They give everybody enough time to come down pit road. If you're all set, ready to rock and roll, set that green flag up for the very next lap. And we waste no time. More green flag racing for the fans at home. And we're lined up 2 by 2. The lights are off on that non-discriminatory, non-manufacturer specific iRacing pace car. We're going green one more time.
Pace car turns left. It's up to Gilliland. Falkingham out just a little bit by a fender, but Gilliland hammers that throttle, and he's going to head off to turn number 1. And just like before, no chance. He's got about 3 or 4 car lengths as they head into the corner.
Having Vince McMahon's theme music playing in the earbuds in that 81 car. No chance in hell. You can see side by side now for second. Daniel Falkingham, Byron Daly. Caution out one more time. Looks like something going on in the back of the pack there. You can see the 45 of Montesi had a strong run, but now he's pointing in the wrong direction.
Yeah, old-fashioned melee over there in turn number 1. We'll have to rewind the tape and watch the Kong Beer Bong replay to figure out what that was all about.
It looks like a little bit of multi-car contact with the 45, 48, and the number 3. Take a peek at this as it happened, and you can see there's the 48 comes up a little bit, kisses the 3 car, comes on down, and just gets into the quarter panel. The 45 of Montesi drifts up the racetrack, almost had it saved, gets into the 31, and then gets into the 41. Another personal comfort car gets T-boned, and here's the back of the field, everybody trying to scramble for position. So a little bit of bumper car, bumper car action coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, the 41 and the 51 both got tagged quite hard, and the 48 was able to drive away. I'm sure Montesi is going to go down and take one of those pointer fingers and put it in the chest of that young man and have a conversation with the 48 about that one. But what a tough run for the kick-ass beef jerky driver. Was having a solid run up there, running in 13th, and he just flat out got turned, it looks like. I don't know if the 48 misjudged trying to get back up into the groove, but I'm sure Montesi's not going to be happy about that one.
We've made mention a couple of times. This is the first time this SIM500 group has run at this Nashville Super Speedway, just coming out on the iRacing service a week ago. And this is the second race we've seen here on Verdane TV, as we saw the Multi-League Cup Series on Thursday night run this track, and a great race, put on a phenomenal show, just like we're seeing here tonight. Gillenwater up front, Daniel Falkingham running second, Byron Daly, Brian Macklin, and Mike Kelly rounding out the top 5. Scott Simley, Josh Parker, David Comstock, Kevin Brown, and Nelson Rivera currently in the top 10.
Yeah, when I looked at that a little closer, it looks like the 45 did not get a good start. I'm not sure if he missed a gear or just didn't time it correctly. And the 48, the 31 behind him was bottled up. And yeah, just one of those circumstances. But again, it's really incumbent upon you not to hammer the guy in front of you. And I'm sure they'll have a discussion and work that out and try and figure out not to do that again.
Yeah, it's really tough if you end up missing the restart, spinning the tires, or not quite getting through the gearbox as well as you want it to, because it's hard to not go and it's hard to get out of the way if you've got cars right on your back bumper when we're all bunched up on restarts like that. So racing incident, I think we'll call it. We'll move on. Going to get the restart here on lap number 69. Nice.
Yeah, they're side by side again, and they're going to re-rack them, restack them, and do it again. The 2022 of Nelson Rivera sitting in that 10th position. The field has kind of like popcorn. They've popped all over the place. Kevin Brown up there in the top 10 for the first time tonight, from what I can recall. And Josh Parker returning in that Bud Light Toyota, currently in the 7th position. So, you know, that pit stop exchange really shuffled the deck here, and it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers play it out as lights are out on the pace car. We get ready to turn it over to Gilliland one more time for the restart, lap 68.
And you got to remember, too, we're on a couple of different pit stop strategies. Some drivers on newer tires than others, but we'll see what these guys can do up front. Daniel Falkingham up on the high side, Adam Gilliland down on the bottom. There's the jump from Adam Gilliland. He's already got 3 or 4 car lengths as they shoot down to turn number 1. Still side by side for second, though. Byron Daly down low. Daniel Falkingham still up on that high side.
Yeah, I have to tell you, my preference would be the bottom for the restarts, and for that reason, Falkingham trying to do his best. If you can get out and get ahead, that's the best place to be, but Falkingham hanging tough there, drives it deep down into the corner to see if he can score that position out of turn number 4. He's going to get it second place to the Lobster 207 Camaro.
Lots of racing back towards the back of the pack, the top 4 or 5 cars, pretty much single file, and you can see Kevin Brown trying to move himself up towards the front. Josh Parker is there. Mike Kelly, he's in this front pack of cars, and Richard Beasley trying to make his presence known in the bottom half of the top 10. Kevin King already up to that 10th position. There you can see that white and red machine up in the high side. He's trying to move up towards the front, try and get a little bit closer to the lead on fresher tires.
Outside of his buddy Beasley, as they run side by side, trying to make that high side work. He's going to go 3 wide, drive around Comstock. Wow, I don't know how he did that, whether they got bottled up and just saw the opportunity, but incredible move. Come up to that 10th. Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and he's going to carry that momentum. That car is a rocket ship on new tires. Look at that thing go.
Getting on around Josh Parker on the high side and making it look easy. Put Kevin King in the 6th spot. Temporarily, he's going to shoot up on across Mike Kelly. Get him on the high side, and that car is hooked up, ready to roll. Destination P1. He's going to go all the way around 2 cars in that turn. Move Kevin King in that 88 car up to P4.
We had heard drivers talking about on fresh tires for 2, 3, 4 laps. You can run that high line down to turn number 1. Turn number 2, find some grip, but after that, it's just going to go away. So we'll see whether or not he's going to be, well, he's going to try it one more time, see if magic will work. He draws along the 33, and here comes Falkingham up in that lane to cut that off some, but he's going to make the position on the 33 and put the 88 to 3rd. What a charge through the field.
A lot of momentum carrying on, too, for the 5 and the 33. Trey Edson and 33 car of Byron Daly. 2 strong cars up towards the front. Joshua Williams, he wants his name up in this top 5. He gets around, and he's going to hold on to that 5th position. 25 spots since the initial green flag. Make that 26 as he moves on up in the 4th.
I'm going to write that down as a note. Unbelievable charge all the way through the field. Kevin King taking over on fresh tires, comes back to the point here. He's going to lead lap number 74 as they come across the stripe. Incredible. Now all these other drivers behind him have to take solace in have fresh tires back there. Maybe they'll be able to repay the favor. But man, what a run by Kevin King.
And he gets up towards the front here, Kevin, just in time for the tires to start falling off just a bit. So he's in a really good position to try and hold on to that lead as everybody's going to come around here, do a little bit of the single file racing. There you can see Justin Fuller in the 51 car, missing the nose of the car, already multiple laps down. He's going to move on up to the high side, let these guys get on around, and we can actually see Mike Montesi now in the 45 car, has parked it in the garage. He's done for the evening. Still 34 cars here on the lead lap.
Yeah, it took King 20 laps to get back out front, and the yellow is going to fall here as he's going to ease off that throttle possible problem for the 22.
Yeah, it looks like Nelson Rivera around in the 22 5G Verizon Ford. And it looks like a little bit of damage. Oh, yeah, it's going to be quite a bit of damage with the outside wall hit there. We're going to take a peek at it. Running on the bottom there, you can see Richard Beasley on the outside. Gives him just a little bit of a tap. Upsets the back end of that race car and shoots the 22 up into the outside wall there in turns 1 and 2. Grabs the brake pedal, makes sure he doesn't roll back into the racing line, and he's going to get that car down and away. Going to be coming down pit road, I'm sure, to grab 4 fresh tires, a little Sunoco race fuel, and to beat on that thing with some virtual hammers as a little bit of contact with the outside wall there.
Am I missing the 39? How did he get so far back on that?
That is a good question. Daniel Falkingham right now on
Back
pit
to
road,
sixth.
sliding back on pit road. So a couple of drivers coming down pit road and a couple drivers staying out at this point. You can see these.
Byron Daly dropped in. He's going to get into his box. Let's see if they go right side tires going on. And Falkingham drops into his box. The 81 of Gilliland in. 13 of Comstock is having a good race. Omar Diallo in, changing tires. So now we've watched Kevin King slice through the field like a hot knife through butter. Will the 39 be able to do the same thing? He's been the second war fastest car, depending on how you're looking at it, as the 81 has. This is going to be really interesting to see all these cars that are fast back here with fresh tires.
Almost a war of crew chiefs, or a race of crew chiefs here in this race. All these drivers, some of them have crew chiefs, some of them kind of pull double duty and make their own decisions, but they were able to watch Kevin King come down that last caution, get 4 tires, restart back in the bottom half of the top 20, and work his way all the way up very, very quickly to the point here, P1. And it's one of those deals where you see how quick that is. Why not come down pit road and try it? Going to get this restart with about 80 laps, or about lap 80. Going to give us 50, 60, 70 laps to go here at Nashville Super Speedway. So now's a really good time to try and test a couple of things out and see what you want for that final run. If you want to try and stay out for track position, or if you want to have a little bit more fresher tires towards the end of the race.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Paul, this is one of those 4 races this season that's $100 to win. So in the background, every one of these drivers has got that in their mind. They want to win here tonight, period. They want to win for the bragging rights of their first win at Nashville, and they want to pick up that $100 payday.
Oh, for sure. And that's one of those deals, too, where you want to have a good points day, you want to run in the top 5, or you want to finish on the podium to try and get up here and talk to us in the post-race show. But, man, you want to win, you want to get that $100. That's a whole lot of beer money or a whole lot of snack money, maybe some iRacing content, a little late Father's Day present potentially for somebody maybe out in the field. $100 goes a long day nowadays.
I'm full of soup, darn it. No, I'm wrong. Sorry. Someone talked about that earlier today, but they got it wrong, and I repeated it. It's Daytona, Charlotte, Darlington, and Talladega, so this is not one of those races, but still the bragging rights of winning at the Nashville Raceway. And, I want to come back to the Cup race, the real Cup race. A lot of drivers were really uncertain about how this racetrack was going to race and whether it would be competitive. I thought the race was outstanding, and I think this sim racing thing echoes the competition on the racetrack. We just saw Kevin King drive that second groove all the way around everybody with fresh tires, and it proves that there are multiple lanes to race here at Nashville.
iRacing doing a fantastic job putting out content as often as they do. New racetracks, new car styles. We've got the new generation of the NASCAR cars here in the iRacing that you're not seeing them now, but you'll definitely see them, I believe, next season. And we've got a couple of other leagues penciled in for the winter months here in the quote-unquote real racing off-season that are going to be running those new generation cars. And iRacing does a phenomenal job. If you're at home watching, wondering what this sim racing deal is all about, shoot on over to iRacing.com. $15 a month. Comes with a bunch of cars and tracks. You can do some dirt racing, oval racing, road racing. You name it, we got it. We got rally trucks, all sorts of cool stuff. And definitely check it out. Let them know if ANTV sent you, too. They'll, maybe they'll give us a high five or something.
I'll give you a high five.
There we go.
80 laps in the book, pace car down on pit road. It's going to be up to Kevin King. His tires are not that old, but everybody behind him has got brand new Goodyears, and we'll see what kind of difference that makes. King off into turn number 1. He's got Trey Edson and, well, the guy that's come the farthest, I think, Joshua Williams running first and second. And how about back there in that 7th position, Jose Gonzalez? Have we mentioned his name at all tonight?
Oh, well, as soon as you did that, Josh Parker goes around. Unfortunate. Great run going on for Josh Parker, but he's going to get pointed in the wrong direction. A little bit of car contact. He had himself a little bit of help, but definitely Jose Gonzalez getting on around that up to the 6th spot now. But Josh Parker all the way back here, and you can see a little bit on the angry side with trying to get that thing spun around. So Kong Beer Bong replay number 6 as we pull up the tapes.
Yeah, I think the challenge went with the 44 getting a little bit of sideways, and I think he had a little bit of help. He came up across the lane, and the 23 gave him a little tap. When the 23 checked up, that's when he got turned from the 26. So that was a little bumper car coming off of turn 2.
We'll slow it down in slow motion here so we can see as the action happens. The 44 down low, Josh Parker in the 23 car. He's up on the high side, and there you see a little bit of contact as the 44 gets loose, loses the back end of the race car. Really nowhere for Josh Parker to go in that 24 car. He's going to 23 car rather. He's going to get spun around. A little bit of nose damage there on the 4 car of Gillenwater. And you can see the C's kind of get parted here. Chad Coleman gets by, Byron Daly in the 33, Tommy Rhyne, Mike Kelly, Adam Gill, and Kevin Brown, they all get by. The 12 gets by. Simley, the 48 of Omar, he gets by. So it looks like everybody else gets on through here without hitting the 23 car. And there you can see 23 getting him locked up. He's going to have to come down and get 4 tires. And looks like he's brought probably 9 or 10 cars down there on pit road.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can catch us in the replay, but you should follow the 39 going through the backstretch. You look like he was, I don't know what you would call it, like a 4-wheeler going down, mowing the grass.
See if we can back that up one more time here and see where the 39 had come down pit road this last time by, or this last caution rather, to get service to that car. And it looks like we got it here. No, I think this is coming to caution. A little bit tough with this these new buttons we got here.
Go. Yeah, a little back, a little foot heat. I'll describe it. He went down low off of turn 2 into the grass, and there's a bunch of different exit and entry roads over there on the backstretch. And every time he hit one, he did a Joey Chitwood jump there, up, down, all the way through to turn number 3. I think he finally got onto the racetrack somewhere over there in no man's land between 3 and 4. Not sure if it damaged the car or not, but certainly a little agricultural racing, as we call it, for the 39 of Buckingham. That'll be good for those fresh new tires.
Definitely cooling him down just a little bit in that number 39 car, and we'll see how he can do. Currently running in the 13th position, and up front pretty much the same as the last restart. Kevin King, Josh Williams, Trey Edson, Macklin, and Glenn Campbell now up in the 5th position. And we started talking about, before that caution came out, Jose Gonzalez. There you can see the number 26 Goya ride. He's up to 6th. He started a little bit further back. It looks like he's gained 9 spots on the night. Great run for that Goya car. It looks like everything is pretty well clean. A little bit of bumper damage on the rear end there, and a little bit of dirt and tire buildup on the sides. But all in all, that car looks pretty clean.
Yeah, I think in contact with the 23, he just kind of shoved him off the nose. I don't believe he got any front-end damage there. I don't see any gaps or problems. The back of the car is, as you said, a little wrinkled, but that shouldn't hurt him too much. But, you know, a lot of these drivers, they suffer some with even the smallest amount of damage. This is the high horsepower package, and these cars wind up going down the straightaway. So if they have a little aero disadvantage, it does show up on the lap times by a couple tenths.
It looks like we're lining them back up 2x2 up in the front. Lights are off on the pace car. Going to go green one more time here on lap number 86. And the field kind of accordioning back up together. These restarts up front have been very exciting, and I don't think we're done racing yet here. We got a long way to go still. 50, 60, 65 laps or so. My math isn't all that good, but lots of racing action to go here still at Nashville Super Speedway.
Going to give a call to the 54. Jimmy Coleman sitting back there in that 9th position. He was our first caution after going around. He got nicked by the 00. Sent for a spin cycle, lap 15. Here he is, lap 85, breaking into the top 10 in that number 54.
There you can see right behind him, Tommy Rhyne. He's up 20 spots into the 11th position, right outside that top 10. Be sure to keep an eye out for that snapmobile.shop machine as he's going to try and get up towards the front. And we're going to watch this iRacing pace car take that hard left-hand turn, join the safety of pit road. A restart up front, Kevin King down low, Joshua Williams up on the high side. This is going to get interesting.
Once again, a good jump by King. They're side by side for a second with Edson down on the bottom, Williams to the top. The two Transervice cars sitting back there side by side. Glenn Campbell going to get a good run up off the corner and clear Macklin. Still side by side for a second. Edson's going to tuck in behind the 95 of Williams. Williams 28 positions up to that second spot right now. We'll see whether or not he has anything for KK.
Three-wide battle here for fifth. Macklin in the center. Jose Gonzalez down low. The 81 and the 33 both up top. Oh, contact. Contact between Gonzalez and Macklin. Oh, no! The 26 car comes back up to the track, takes out the 99 of Tommy Rhyne and a couple of other cars. Still no caution. There's the caution. Yellow flag out. Unfortunate event for the 26 car. There you can see Doug Roth. Looks like he may very well have been involved in it. The 12 car has a little bit of damage. There you can see a couple of other slow cars. They might have just got woed up, but going to bring out caution number 7. We're going to have to take another look here at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay.
Yeah, old Speedy, he just could not keep that car down on the apron. There's nothing you could do. It's almost like a track will be in next week poking it when you blow a tire. You don't want to be down low. You need to be up high because there's only one place you're straight line straight out onto the racetrack.
Absolutely, and we're going to take a look at this from the blimp here. It's actually going to be able to show you the 3-wide action we had between the 30, the 26, the 33 of Byron Daly was in there. Great run. Here you can see the personal comfort ride, the 81, making his time up here, trying to get up around on the high side. But there you can see the 3-wide action, and it's tough to see what happens. It looks like just a little bit of contact initially between Gonzalez and Macklin, and unfortunately, like you said, Kevin, really nowhere to go down on the apron with that 26 car. You can see he was hard on the brakes, but just nowhere to go. The way the banking works on this track, you can see a lot of cars involved. Looks like Wetzel involved, the 43 of Doug Roth. Saw him pointed in the wrong direction, and just a tough break, a little racing incident with 3-wide action, and Jose is going to be parked on pit road for at least a lap or two to try and get some of that damage worked out. And you can see the 54 machine appears to be smoking. Jimmy Coleman down there on the apron, black smoke coming out, so he's got some terminal issues with that machine.
I'll tell you, the driver that gets the nod on my kit was David Comstock. Just locked it up, turned left, avoid plowing into that. He did clip the 43 of Roth, but I think he got away relatively free there. Good job by Comstock to keep the damage at a minimum there. He went down into turn 1, saw everything happen, locked it up, and just cranked it left.
We can actually take a look at that while we're up in the blimp, and you can see there he is in the 13 car. He gets the brakes locked up, turns the wheel to the left side. Oh, clips Doug Roth just a little bit, but no damage really on that car, and it doesn't look like the 43 hit anything either. So that is using that middle pedal there in a very good way. Yeah,
no doubt. It could have been a lot worse if he'd have plowed into that. Well, you know what? We did a disservice to these guys as broadcasters because, you know, as soon as you start talking about the 26 to 54, where does it happen?
Always, always, always. The broadcaster curse. You
it's like
start
curse.
Talking about how good somebody's running, and all of a sudden they're pointed in the wrong direction.
Bad fortune for some is good fortune for others. How about Robert Gillenwater sitting there in that 8th position? And that's going to help the 39's cause. We didn't get to see whether the 39 get any charge on that restart since the caution was so quick, but those are positions he does not have to pass. So helping that cause.
For sure, and you can see he's running in the 7th position. As if you look on the Verdane TV timing tower there on the left hand of your screen, working the lap number 90. We cross the stripe here for lap number 91. Kevin King up front. Joshua Williams up 28 spots into that 2nd position. Trey Edson, Glenn Campbell, and Byron Daly rounding out the top 5. Lights still on in the pace car. So we'll go to the second half of the top 10. Adam Gilliland, Daniel Falkingham, Robert Gillenwater, Mike Kelly, and Kevin Brown rounding out the top 10. So a lot of powerhouse, a lot of fast drivers up towards the front, and still a lot of big names towards the throughout the rest of the field here. Omar Diallo up the 48 car, running in the 11th spot. He was pretty quick earlier on tonight. Chad Coleman has been pretty much at the front of the field, back of the field, in the center, down pit road. I think he stopped for ice cream earlier on, but he's currently running in the 15th spot, and you can see as we go through the field here, lots of drivers all over the place. Pedro Mojica in the 18th spot, down 8-15. It looks like he's the one of the drivers that's lost the most positions, next to Brian Macklin, who's running in the 28th position right now.
6 different lead changes, 4 different leaders. Kevin King has led 60 laps so far here tonight. Other leaders include Fuller, Macklin, and Gilliland. I'm kind of surprised, I have to say. I've run 2 of these races and watched 2 of these races this week, and they have not been so action-packed. So I would have expected, Paul, that we might get to a green flag pit stop, and I think there's still a little bit of time for that, but it certainly has been an elbows-up race so far here for the SIM500 crew.
Yeah, we've seen the longest a lot of these drivers can make it on tires is probably about 40 to 45 laps, 50 if you really stretch it. But I don't know if we've got anybody that's able to really slow up as much, the competition being so high here in the SIM500 Transervice Cup Series. But lined up 2 by 2 one more time, crossing the stripe, green flag on lap number 92, and we already have some contact towards the back of the pack.
Okay, we'll see whether or not the yellow comes out. There's got to be that way because there's cars sideways in the thing. Boy, these restarts have certainly perplexed these guys today.
100%. We're going to pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay one more time, and you're seeing the logo a lot here. You see the address there on your screen. You definitely got to check these Kong Beer Bongs out. Didn't remember to bring it to the racetrack last weekend when you and I were hanging out there, Kevin. But a lot of beer disappears very quickly when you use these things. And Verdane TV always reminds you to drink responsibly. But be the life of the party, make the good times better with Kong Beer Bong. It's kong.2drunk.net, and great to have them on board here, sponsoring the replays here on Verdane TV with all the leagues we run throughout the weeks here, and it's you definitely got to check them out. Let them know Verdane TV sent you, and they may very well hook them up. They just got 5 new designs, camouflage designs, so definitely check those out. I was going to say you could order them in time for Father's Day, but Father's Day is come and gone here. So, but we're going to take a look at this replay and find out what the heck happened towards the back of the pack. You can see cars coming to the restart here up in the blimp view, and looks like we'll keep an eye maybe right around that 10 ride, the bright orange car.
The Tide ride, yep.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on Richard Beasley. Easy to stick out there, as Beasley likes the old Ricky Rudd paint scheme. But everybody kind of closes up, and it looks like a big check up there. You can see the 19 in the back bumper, the 10, 41 cars around, the 31, the 43, they're around. Lots of drivers just, it looks like just a checkup on the start of the race. Didn't quite get going, and the back part of the field kind of ran into the front part of the field, it looks like.
Sure looks that way. It's been certainly an unusual race for that. Again, as I say, I would not have surprised or would have expected that. And we see a lot of these drivers who had damage down on pit road. EJ O'Rourke in getting some service to the personal comfort Camaro. A lot of these cars are looking pretty banged up there, Paul.
For sure, you can see the drivers coming off pit road there. You can see bright yellow car coming down. There's Doug Roth in the 43. He's getting service to his machine. So Probably about a dozen, dozen or so cars coming down pit road to get some service. Taking a peek at timing and scoring, it looks like we've got 32 cars still on the lead lap. Justin Fuller, the first car, is actually 3 laps down. Jose Gonzalez, after some trouble, has retired from the race. Jimmy Coleman as well has parked that machine, as well as Mike Montesi, currently scored last in at 36th. So kind of a little bit of a war of attrition. You can see a lot of tire tracks there on the front straightaway through the old NASCAR and the Xfinity Series logos. Lots of beating and banging here tonight, and I don't think we're done. Got about 55 laps to go here. We're going to be getting the restart with, I think, 53 or so to go. And once we get this pack kind of put back together, as you can see, Richard Beasley, long pit stop. He's going to rejoin the field. And I don't know. I don't think we've seen the most exciting part of this race yet, Kevin.
I would think at this point, we just need to get a couple laps under our belt, and then we'll be able to get back to conventional racing. And you were talking about that bright yellow car. Let's go back and take a look at Brian Workman in that number 74 Country Time Ford, reminiscent of Michael Waltrip. And I want to ask you, did you watch the SRX race this week? What a wheelman Michael Waltrip was.
He really is, and he showed that bigger guys, because he's like 6'13" or something like that, and barely fits into those SRX cars. You made mention of it on Saturday. Well, the Saturday before that, when you or I at Stafford Motor Speedway, and it really shows he's still got it. He is still able to wheel a race car, and unfortunately, I didn't get to see this past Saturday. I was actually at the neighbor's house having a little bit of a cookout action. But still got to take a look at the replay. It looked like it was a great race. And Michael Waltrip really showing that he's still got it.
He darn near pulled off the upset. You should go take a peek at that. That series has been a lot of fun. And Michael Waltrip, we saw it. It didn't show that much on television. But when we were at Stafford, he had a heck of a run. And that Country Time car just kind of evokes that memory of Michael Waltrip in those cars. Bobby Hamilton running the Country Time car, and here tonight Brian Workman giving it a run. And I'm now looking at this top 5 as we get things set up. King, Williams, Edson, Campbell, Byron Daly. Byron Daly's been hanging up there in that top 5 all night long. He seems like he's got this place figured out.
Yeah, and you can see he's warming the tires up, running back and forth there, trying to get some heat into those front tires, make sure all the rubber buildup is off of it. Car looks clean. A lot of rubber buildup down the side of the cars, but as far as the sheet metal, everything appears to be straight. So I think Byron Daly's got a great shot at trying to get around these 4 cars in front of him. And the iRacing pace car coming down pit road one more again. Got to restart. Kevin King down low. Joshua Williams up high. Not even going to wait for him. Kevin King gone. Shot out of a rocket. He's going to cross that stripe. Head on down to turn number 1. He's got about 5-6 car lengths over the battle for second. And there you can see Joshua Williams up high. Trey Edson in that 5 car right down there on the apron.
Yeah, the good news for us, the field kind of spread out. Not that bottleneck that we saw before. Everybody gave a lot of space as we head down the backstretch for the most of the field into turn 2 and 3, 4. Now they come around to the front stretch. 1 car ducking off the pit road. Who's that going to be over there?
It's like Randy Yoakum in the 8 car coming down.
Yeah, Randy Yoakum must have had a penalty or something.
But you can see, you made mention real quick here, single file for the most part. Daniel Fockingham is one of the cars up in that middle groove trying to peek in between the 81 and the 5 car, but not quite enough room. The 81 rather, of Adam Gillen going to drive on away, and Fockingham's going to hold on to the 5th position for now. I don't think we've seen the end of his large course in front.
As we watch these cars go through, there are some tour of race cars in this pack tonight, especially out in the back. There's been quite a bit of attrition, and the body guys are going to have their work cut out for them. Looking at it for the first time here tonight, Jeff Rhyne running in that 15th position right there, tracing Bobby Wetzel, Scott Simley right behind him. That car looks good. The 3 car currently running in the top 20. Good run for Jeff Rhyne. Settled in there following Bobby Wetzel. Wetzel keeping his car clean. And, well, everybody seems to be single file till you get up there to Omar Diallo. He's outside of Mike Kelly. Charge it out of turn number 2 to the backstretch. He's going to take over that position. give him the 8th position. He's now working on Glenn Campbell. The 48 seems to be showing a little life here in the late going.
Made his way back up towards the front in that 48 ride, and now he's setting his sight on the back bumper of Glenn Campbell, and you can see Kevin Brown trying to make something happen on that outside line, trying to get around Mike Kelly in the number 2 car. A couple of Fords doing battle for that 9th position, and Robert Gillenwater, great recovery, involved in an earlier caution here. The 4 car right in there in 11th spot. And Joey Tatina, haven't talked about him too much in the Dane TV SIM500.com car. He's having a pretty good run, pretty solid run there in 12th spot.
Yeah, Joey had some unfortunate luck in the Xfinity race, had to sit out the end of that, so I'm sure he's happy to get some laps in here tonight as Kevin Brown goes down underneath Glenn Campbell and takes over that position. Now he's hunting Omar Diallo. They got a little space in front of him. Kevin's got some time to work, time to charge and pick and choose where his lane is going to be. Diallo, we're currently hunting the 7th position. How about Trey Edson sitting there quietly running in the top 6?
Yeah, that 5 car definitely very, very quick for Trey Edson. You can see he's kind of right back in this front train of cars, all single file, running about the same line. And Trey Edson, in a good spot to do his homework. He's got 5 really quick cars up in front of him, and he's able to see whose line's working better, who's making it work on the high side, the low side, who's peeking out to get air on the front of the car. So doing a great job, and you can see he's got a little bit of a gap there between he and the 48 car of Omar Diallo behind him, but he's still got to deal with Kevin Brown, who's working on the back bumper of him, and that's the battle for 7th and 8th right there. But yeah, the 5 car, Trey Edson, doing a phenomenal job here in 6th.
Yeah, right now, Joshua Williams on the low line, just keep peeking his left side down some, getting air on the left front corner. He is tracking Kevin King pretty tight there. I'm not sure if he has fresher tires or, so far this season, since Kevin King has joined us, it's been King and Falkingham over the last period making a lot of noise. But Josh Williams currently solid in 4th place in the points, and he's not been flashy, but he's been fast. Between himself and Pedro Mojica, they're doing pretty well in the top 10, top 5 department. And certainly Josh Williams is having a great run here tonight at 95.
And you can see he is as fast as the leader, Kevin King, there in the 88 car. You can take a look at the last 5 laps, last 5 lap times, rather, from 101 to 105, back and forth almost every single lap, but within hundredths of a second. So the 95 and the 88 both running almost identical lap times, and it looks like everybody else there in the top 5 right there with them. So it's still anybody's ball game here.
Trey Edson and Omar Diallo fighting. Omar pulls down on the door of Trey Edson in turn number 1. Now he's going to try and get that good run up out of turn number 4, or turn number 2 to the backstretch. He's going to get that position. They're side by side over there for 2nd, too.
Business really starting to pick up as we're in the final 50 laps to go. 43-42 as we cross the stripe for lap number 108. And you can see Adam Gillen in 2nd, Joshua Williams now in 3rd. Byron Daly trying to peek on down and take that 3rd position away from Joshua Williams, making that car stick right down there on that yellow line.
33 got a little loose up off the corner, had to collect the car. That allows Falkingham to come back into the mix, put Falkingham to 4th, Byron Daly to 5th. Here comes Omar Diallo. He's been the fastest car the last couple laps. That 48 is really on the charge on the outside.
Taking a look at the stint lengths here for pit stops. Kevin King came down pit road last time 46 laps ago, as did Joshua Williams there in 3rd place. It looks like everybody else in the top 7 came down 31 laps ago. Trey Edson on older tires as well, lap 46. So I think we're going to end up seeing some green flag pit stops here coming up. This guy's been out on the track for a very long time. I know the lap times don't seem to be falling off as much as we expected, but definitely going to have to put fuel in these race cars very, very soon.
Yeah, the way these guys are racing, they're going to create an opportunity for a caution because they are literally door handle to door handle. They know it's go time and the action is up. Here comes Myron Daly got a good run when they got bottled up. He draws underneath the 93 of Kevin Brown, trying to get to that 6th position. They're side by side in front of him coming up off the corner. And you know what? Kevin King has not gotten away. Gilliland, with those fresher tires, has been chasing him down every lap.
39 laps to go here. The top 3 single file. The 48, the 95 side by side. The 33, the 93 side by side. Trey Edson, he's still up in that front pack. Mike Kelly, Glenn Campbell rounding out the top 10. 39 laps to go here at Nashville Superspeedway. Kevin King still holding on to the lead. Definitely led the most laps here so far tonight. Will he lead his final handful?
Trouble, big hit for Omar Diallo. The 34 of Campbell gets a piece of that, and we are under caution. Massive crash over there in turn number 1.
You can see black smoke pouring out of the hood of that 48 Alline machine. That car is toasted. Definitely some terminal issues with that car. He's going to call a tow truck and get on down to pit road. You can bet that 48 car is done for the evening. But we'll pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay and take a peek. Looks like he spun around like a top. We were taking a gander at this battle a few laps ago, and we'll take a look at it here. Kong Beer Bong instant replay. 48 car right up in front of the 38. Kind of drifts up in front of Kevin Brown just a little bit. There's the contact. Sends that car spinning around like a top. Gathers up a couple of other cars. They are able to keep it going, but puts the brakes on here, locks them up, and everybody else able to get around either low or high. So that's a big hit for the 48 car. You can see Josh Parker gets on around as well. So that's a tough break for the 48. He's probably going to be done for the evening. Looks like he has retired from the race so far, but that right there is going to be good news for a lot of these drivers potentially coming down for their final pit stops. And just as I say that, it actually looks like Adam Gilliland stayed out.
Yeah, everybody went to pit road, but Adam Gilliland hooked it right, stayed up there behind the pace car. Not sure if he's out of tires, saving tires, figures he's going to run and use the track position, but it's going to be 4 tires and fuel for everybody who's got tires and fuel, and this is probably going to be the last stop for the entire field.
Yeah, less than 40 laps to go, 36 it appears. So we got plenty of time. I think at this point we may very well see some 2-tire stops. It didn't quite work out for Chad Coleman earlier on, but we can see it actually looks like Kevin King potentially with a 2-tire stop. We'll have to double check with our pit road reporters.
I'm pretty sure it was 4 tires and fuel for the 88 as well as the 39. And I'll never get used to the ability to drive through the car, but if he had to drive around the 39 might have beat him off pit road.
Yeah, very, very close battle, and you can see, looking at those 2 cars, still relatively clean as far as the sheet metal goes. One of the cars not as clean, Justin Fuller in a 51, having a rough go of it. Still 3 laps down. You can see lots of front-end damage on that personal comfort ride, and having a rough go of it. But Adam Gillen up front, his teammate, personal comfort, holding on to the lead. Byron Daly, Kevin Brown, Joey Jattina up there in 4th position. Bobby Wetzel, Jeff Rhyne, Pedro Mojica coming on back to the top 10. He is in 7th. Richard Beasley, Matthew Karikoff, and Eric Arnold. I don't think we've said the 31's name all night here tonight in the X-Side ride.
I don't think so.
He's doing a great job. Stays out this caution flag. He's going to hold on to the 10th spot.
Yeah, looking at some of these drivers and where they pitted, they were like 26 laps ago before they pitted, like Joey Jattina currently running in that. Well, where is he running? 4th. They do have the track position, but I have to believe that, like we saw Kevin King charge earlier, these guys with fresh tires are going to eat these guys up. There's enough time for them with 35 laps to go to the finish to be able to get up here and tussle this away from these drivers.
Yeah, we saw Kevin King make his way through the field very, very quickly on fresh tires, and there you can see when the last time these drivers came down pit road. The top 3, 37 laps ago. Jattina, Wetzel, 32 laps ago. Tommy Ryan, Jeff Rhyne rather, in the 6th position, 37 laps ago. So a lot of these drivers may actually have to come down pit road one more time. So they're just going to try and hold on to some track position and maybe save a set of tires here. Limited sets of tires down on pit road. So we're going to see maybe that'll play into the end of this race.
If I'm not mistaken, Gilliland's only pitted twice in 115 laps. So those tires are, well, he's got fresh air. I keep saying that. He's got clean air, driver term. And, you know, we should tell people what that means because sometimes that doesn't make sense. These cars are very aerosensitive. When you're out front, you get all the air on the front of the car. When you're behind another car, you're in the wake of the other car. And sometimes you just don't get enough air to push the nose down. Yes, it's a sim, but the dynamic is the same as real racing. And these drivers do give a lot of credence to clean air. Clean air on the nose of the car helps it turn through the corner. It doesn't wear the tires as much. And for Adam Gilliland, if he gets a good jump and gets out in front of everybody to turn one, he's got all the clean air he can have, which will help that car perform better. He's going to need it for Byron Daly because Byron Daly's been fast all night long. And, well, Kevin Brown, he wants to take no prisoners. He would love no better to win here at Nashville.
A super speedway ringer in his own right. Kevin Brown, one of the final four drivers in it, that SIM500 Verdane Racing Super Speedway Series Championship. And he's going to restart third here behind the Adam Gilliland machine. Byron Daly up on the outside of the front row. Joey Gajettina in the 14 ride. He's going to restart, slow restart. Lots of bottled up race cars. Got to take a peek at the back of the pack here to see if everybody gets away cleanly, and it does, in fact, look like it is. Adam Gilliland trying to do his best to block both high and low, but side by side still for P2.
I think that really helped Gilliland in two ways. It did do the block, as you suggested, but it also helped him turn down into the corner and use all his speed to get down to the apex. He's going to lead handily off of turn number 4 over Byron Daly. They're side by side back there for that 5th position. Joey Gajettina and Pedro Mujica running door handle in turn number 1. Gajettina to the outside, just trying to carry that momentum. A little damage on that 58, but it looks pretty quick on the bottom line. Here comes Joey to the outside. He's got a good run down the back stretch. He's going to nose ahead.
Oh, contact in the back.
Battle for the lead.
Caution stays green. The 22 car Nelson Rivera off the racing groove. There is that battle for the lead, but Adam Gilliland going to hold on to it. Man, remember when I told you a couple laps ago business was about to pick up? We just saw mid-pack 3 wide for about 4 rows deep, and they made it work.
Don't look now. Here comes the 88 and the 39 as the yellow drops. They're coming into that top 5 from the high line. The 39 just hooked the tow hitch on the back of the 88. And it's problems for the 23.
Yeah, it looks like he spilled his Bud Light and his batteries there in turn number 2 for Josh Parker. Tough break, was working his way up towards the front, and we saw that 3x3x3x3 battle going on there, and we're going to get another glimpse of it in front of the 23 car and find out what exactly put him facing the wrong way. And there you can see heading into turn number 1 and 2, the 23, the action's actually up in front. Tommy Rhyne up into the wall, and there's the contact between Glenn Campbell, Josh Parker, Doug Roth in a tough break for the 43, who's doing very well here, but we'll have to see if we can back that up one more time. I believe it was Tommy Rhyne in the 99 spitting early, and the driver's trying to avoid it, and there it is. A little bit of contact with Mike Kelly in the 00 car of Matthew Karikoff, and Karikoff comes up the track just a little bit, taps the 99 of Tommy Rhyne, points him in the wrong direction. He gets a little bit of contact there with the 38 of Chad Coleman as well, and everybody slamming on the brakes and the binders and trying to avoid it. Some guys did better at others than avoiding calamity here on turn 1 and 2.
Heard 20 laps in the books, and well, I don't know how you could say action is going to pick up for this final charge to the end, because it's been pretty much a brawl all night long. But take a moment and let you know who helps us get this broadcast done. Race is presented by Transervice Transportation and Logistics Solutions, a history of service and a tradition of excellence. And by Kong Beer Bong. Be the life of the party. Visit kong.twodrunk.net and make your good times better. Track Cams 22, tracing, track cams, and files take your iRacing spectator experience to the next level. The sponsorship for the Rookie of the Year is RacingBids.com, racing collectibles for race fans. RacingBids, the official sponsor of the Rookie of the Year program. You can visit their auctions on Facebook. And don't forget us here at Vidane TV. Want to give us a tip? Head over to tip.vidane.net and tip your broadcasters and producers. Re-racking the cars for the restart, Joey Jatina is going to give up that 6th position, head to pit road.
Yeah, he knows the action is definitely going to pick up. He might very well have one more set of tires down on pit road and getting a restart here with about 28 laps to go. This might be a pretty good move. That's enough time to really take advantage. Overshoots the pit box just a little bit. Nobody saw it. The 14 crew rather going to get to work on the right side, and the left side goes up as well. So 4 tires and fuel for the 14 car. That might be the move of the race. Going to restart towards the back of the pack, but he's going to have fresh rubber here with the last 28 laps to go.
Hard to pass, but we saw how much of an advantage fresh tires will be, and I don't know that we're done yet. 10 cautions, I would not have guessed that. I just continue to be surprised by the number of physicality incidents that we've had so far in this event.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a longer race here, and lots of action on 1.33 mile super speedway for the very first time with the SIM500 Transervice Cup Series group. And we saw the first race at this track here on Vidane TV this past Thursday with the multi-league racing group. Those guys race 7 nights a week, and always cool to see that they've got the Cup Series here, presented by Stone River Outfitters, a shop up there in Amherst, New Hampshire. A little bit of fly fishing, outdoorsing, and all sorts of cool stuff. I'm going to check that place out on my next trip up to Maine, maybe try to peek in and let them know Vidane TV sent me, but very cool, and we're still working on the winter schedule here for Vidane TV. We know for a fact that NEPS is going to be coming back. The Fatheads Cup Series, they're going to be coming back Wednesday night with a new name, new brand, Loose Lugs Racing on Wednesday nights, doing the doubleheader action with the Tim's Corner Live Show brought to you by Tim's Corner Motorsports. And the East Coast Winter League, talked to Dylan Kopak at Stafford Motor Speedway last week, coming back for some tour mod racing. I'm not sure quite what the schedule is going to look like, but that's going to be a whole lot of fun. We got some road racing groups interested and lots of things coming here at Vidane TV, so be sure to check out all the social media outlets, the Facebook, the YouTube, the Twitter. We're trying to be more active on Twitter, but I keep forgetting that it exists, so be sure to tweet us and tag us. We got a lot of stuff going on, and Kevin, you and I are actually going racing SIM500 style tomorrow night, a little bit of late model action.
Yeah, man, love the super lates. Just painted a new paint scheme. Getting ready for that. You're going to restart the season. Come join us, SIM500. And, this weekend, Pocono, double. I'm surely hoping it ain't going to rain because I'll be camping all weekend. So if you're at Pocono, come say hello to us. Pace car pulls in. It's going to be Kevin King to lead us back. Well, no, sorry. It's going to be the 33. Did you see that red car up there? Well, what happened on that restart? That didn't work. Gilliland out to the top. The Daily car running in second, as it should be. He chose the top line for the restart. They charge out of turn number 2 to the backstretch. It's Brown, King, Wetzel, Falkingham, Williams, and Pedro Mojica in your top 7.
Still quite a few laps to go here. 26 to go, and there you can see Kevin King making that bottom side work now. We spent most of the first part of the race up on the high side. Daniel Falkingham trying to get even lower than Kevin King, the 38 car, peeking his nose on down through the top 2 single files so far. Adam Gillen holding on to the point. The 33 of Byron Dalen running a special paint scheme for his team motor battling cancer, because we all know cancer sucks. You can see it right there on the quarter panel there, and trying to have a good run, trying to finish on the podium and trying to get to that point. But there's the move. Daniel Falkingham down low. You couldn't even put a paper between those 2 cars as he's trying to battle for third.
He knows how important that is. He's got to get to the front first and get that clean air, and the 39 on the charge, driving hard. He's got a nose ahead. Can he get to the bumper? The 33 is going to hold him up. The 88 is going to get the charge, but wow, did you see the 88 wiggle coming up off the corner?
These drivers giving everything they've got here, and with Kevin King being on fire as he's been these past 3 weeks here on Vidane TV in the Cup Series, these drivers know that there's 3 rules to SIM500 Cup racing. Go fast, turn left, and beat up Kevin King. And that's exactly what these guys are trying to do. They're trying to get around the 88 machine, trying to get him in the rearview mirror, but he's going to say, going around the high side, Kevin King going to take that second position. Kevin, how about that?
That is unbelievable. These two are just going to run side by side deep into the corner. Who can outdrive? Who's braver than the other guy? Little wiggle from Falkingham. They're going to get to the 81. The question is, can the 39 use him as a pick? That's about what's going to happen to see who's going to come out here out front.
I don't know. Joshua Williams trying to take a peek at the center, almost made it 3 wide. The 81 car slow. They're going to make a Gilliland sandwich. 39 down low, 88 up top. Kevin, look at this racing. Josh Williams right there as well. The top 4 cars under a blanket. Trey Edson, Mike Kelly, they want a piece of the action. They're coming up into the picture. Holy moly, Kevin King to the point. He's going to lead with 22 laps to go.
Now it's Williams putting the bumper to the 39, getting him a little squirrely. I'll tell you what, Williams looks really fast on the charge right here. He's going to nose ahead of Falkingham to see if he can get up there. But Kevin King, just sheer bravery, gets him the lead, and he's out by 4 car lengths.
Bravery and talent as they're side by side for second. Falkingham has a little bit of an advantage over Joshua Williams there in the 95 car. Might be able to get that back on the inside. Here he comes. They're still nose to nose, bumper to bumper as they cross the stripe. 21 laps to go, and give it to Joshua Williams, that time by Trey Edson, now joining the battle for second. Mike Kelly. Chad Coleman, where the heck did he come from?
Yeah, unbelievable that Coleman and Kelly, but these guys running side by side are going to allow a couple of those drivers back there, 6th, 7th, 8th, to pull up. Scott Simley is right there in that mix, but they continue to be elbows up for that second position. They just don't want to give it up. It allows Kevin King to draw out. King right now out. Well, he's got a 1.2 second lead. Williams really looks strong right on the yellow line. Here comes Falkingham. Sideways they touched off of turn 2.
Give the spot to Daniel Falkingham, but here comes the cavalry. Trey Edson down on the bottom side, going to try and move in down low. He's got a bit of a run on Mike Kelly as Mike Kelly tries to get right up on him. We made mention, gives the advantage to the high side, and Joshua Williams going to hold on to the 3rd spot for now. 19 laps to go. We're side by side for 4th. Ah, my God, this is exciting.
Boy, Edson just pitched the car down there in turn number 2. He's sideways again, trying to get underneath the 2 of Mike Kelly, see if he could get over that position for 4th. Unable to do it. That's just going to cost him too much. Kelly able to surge back in. He's going to tuck in back there behind the 95. You have to wonder if the 95 ran his tires off, and don't count out Daniel Falkingham. He's been running some fast laps here.
So everybody kind of sorting it out up front for the top 6 or 7 cars, running single file. And I got to wonder, you're giving these tires an opportunity to kind of cool down just a little bit here, Kevin, and see what they've got for the final stretch. And man, oh man, Kevin King out front, 0.8 of a second over Daniel Falkingham. Joshua Williams now 3rd. Mike Kelly up to 4th spot, 14 spots gained. 27 spots gained for Joshua Williams, oh by the way. Mike Kelly in 4th, Trey Edson 5th, Chad Coleman 6th. Scott Simley still in there. He's in the 7th spot. Richard Beasley 12 spots up. He's side by side right now for 8th. Side by side with that Adam Gilliland machine who looks like he's dropping back just a bit.
Yeah, unfortunately for Gilliland, the strategy not playing out right now. If we get a caution, though, things might get reset, but he's certainly dropping through the pack here with those old tires. Everybody able to go underneath them as the 8 moves past, and out front continues to be Kevin King, but you know what? That 39's drawing a beat. He went from 0.8 of a second interval to 0.6, although King got a good run and stretches it out a little bit more here to the backstretch.
Really tough to tell right now who's got the advantage because you can't really tell who's trying to save and who's giving it all they've got. We know these drivers have old tires on the race car. You can see 21 laps on these tires. Richard Beasley back in the 8th spot has about the freshest tires in that front top 10. We got to wonder if 15 laps is enough time for him to take advantage of that in that side 10 ride. But you can see right now Kevin King still way off in the distance, driving off into the sunset. But all these drivers second on back through 6th and 7th position. Throw a tow chain in between them, it wouldn't even hit the ground. These drivers are driving so tight.
Saw the 14 of Joey Chatina go to pit road. He's currently worked his way up to the 15th position. He's working on the back of Byron Daly, who did not have a good late run here. Daly also probably on some worn tires trying to chase E.J. O'Rourke and Adam Gillen. Robert Gillenwater holding on for a top 10 right now, just trying to see what he can get.
Taking a look at the lap times here for the first and fourth position. You can see Kevin King and all these drivers up in the top 10 running almost identical lap times. And it's great to see the competition here in the SIM500 Transervice Cup Series being so even. Everybody running the same setup underneath the race car, and everybody able to drive around this Nashville Superspeedway with very limited practice. This track coming out just last week here in the iRacing service. And everybody getting the same amount of time to practice. We had practice earlier on tonight throughout the week, and some of these drivers up towards the front, everybody in the top 5, top 10, showing exactly what they've got here at Nashville Superspeedway. Caution. One more time. This is going to make things super interesting. Adam Gilliland around in the 81 car.
He's the guy that wanted the caution for fresh tires to see what caused this.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because with a damaged nose like that, it's fresh tires isn't going to really do him too much good. But the 11th caution here tonight, the 11th Kong Beer Bong instant replay. And you can see side by side the two personal comfort machines, the 81 and the 41. And a little bit of contact. The 41 almost looks like he drove up into the 81 right in front of the 33 of Byron Daly and shoots the 81 machine of Adam Gilliland up into the outside wall. Hits it with the front of the car, hits it with the back of the car, gets rolling again, grabs a gear. But man, oh man, the damage a little bit too much to repair here in the final 10 laps at Nashville Superspeedway. So going to be interesting to see who takes advantage here, if anybody's got any tires left on pit road.
That is going to be really interesting. I want to say that Joey Chatina was the one that pitted for tires. We saw him miss his pit stall, but still no harm, no foul. And he's running in the 11th position right now. He might have some of the freshest tires, as it's, well, everybody in the back, if you got tires, you're going to give that track position up and go get tires. It's worth it.
100%.
Stocking.
Yeah, you can see Joey Chatina running in the 11th spot, so he's going to have 4 or 5 drivers behind him without fresh tires, but you can see a lot of damage on the front of that 14 car, so I think he's just going to try and survive here for the final 10 laps or so. Probably going to get a restart with 8 or 9 laps to go, and Kevin King out front, Daniel Falkingham, Joshua Williams, Mike Kelly, Trey Etz in the top 5, Chad Coleman, Scott Simley, Richard Beasley, Randy Yoakum all the way back up to 9th position, and Robert Gillenwater rounding out the top 10. Still anybody's race here, but they got to go on this restart. That's going to be the key point of these final 10 laps is the restart. They got to get around this 88 ride.
Yeah, for Falkingham, those restarts have not been good to him. I just don't, it's not a problem with Daniel. It's just a matter of the fact that it's so hard to keep with Kevin King. And then Kevin gets that advantage, and unfortunately, it's hard to track him down. These laps ticking by, Paul, are probably not going to help the 39's cause.
No, it's giving everybody an opportunity to really cool down the tires just a little bit, and the 39 hasn't quite been as good on restarts as the 88, but the 88 is able to drop the hammer essentially when he wants to. The rules state as soon as that pace car rolls off onto pit road, you're pretty much golden. The leader can pick when to restart on after the initial start. So Kevin King has the advantage here, and they may very well not be done wrecking. We've seen a lot of cautions here tonight. Here we're working the 11th caution at Nashville Superspeedway, and it's been exciting. There's been a lot of different lines, and this is an opportunity for everybody to kind of tighten their belts up, tighten their equipment, make sure the wheel's not going to fall off the desk, and make sure that we're sitting at the edge of our seats, almost standing up, jumping up and down, because that last restart, Kevin, very, very exciting, and I don't think we've seen the most exciting part yet.
I was looking at who went to pit road here. I see the 13 of Comstock. He's got fresh tires. Wetzel's got fresh tires. Yeah, Kevin Brown also went in. Let's see if he got 4 tires and fuel. He looks to be one of the furthest cars up. Yep, 4 tires and fuel for the 93. Same for Beasley. So it'll be interesting to see if any of these drivers can make some hay here with fresh tires and 10 laps to go.
And the lights are off one more time on that iRacing pace car, lining them up 2 by 2. And we've seen this time and time again over the past couple of weeks here on Dayton TV. Kevin King leading the race down on the bottom side. Daniel Falkingham up on the high side in that 39 ride. Behind them, Joshua Williams, Mike Kelly. Kelly having a great run in that 2 car, restarting in 4th. Trey Edson in the 5 car. We know he's fast and he's smooth, and he's on the bottom. That's where you want to be here at Nashville Super Speedway. Chad Coleman, Scott Skimley, Richard Beasley, Randy Yoakum, Robert Gillenwater. Who's who of sim racing, Transervice Cup Series racing in the top 10. Lots of drivers pitting here for fresh tires with less than 10 laps to go here in Nashville Super Speedway. You're watching it live as it happens here on Dayton TV. Who is coming home for the very first time with the virtual electric guitar here at Nashville Super Speedway? Kevin King down low, Daniel Falkingham up on the top side.
Anticipation is high, trying to figure out how this is going to end. We do have a couple green-white checkers, but we hopefully are not going to use them. Kevin King down and away, good. Again, clean restart. Joey Chatina down on the apron, car not up to speed. Tyler Dalton in the 16th position is going to drive by him. Here comes Byron Daly on the charge to the outside. Kevin Brown with those fresh tires trying to make their way forward, but they're pretty deep in the pack as up front they are nose to tail. Byron Daly on the charge. He's the car on the move. 17th, 16th, 15th. Coming out of turn number 4. I think it's a little too late for him, but hard to say if he can come as far as the 88 did. Up front, they're side by side for second out of turn number 2. I thought the 95 would have been tough on tires as hard as he chased, but he's got a lot of life in him.
You can see he's running on the high side right now. Joshua Williams in the 95 car getting just a little bit of a push there from the 5 of Trey Edson up behind him, but they're still side by side. Hard to tell who's going to give that position to the 95 as they cross the stripe, but the 39 is going to have the advantage going in to turn number 1. They're still chasing Kevin King, 9/10 of a second the lead for that 88 machine, side by side for second, side by side for 4th. Mike Kelly down low, Trey Edson up high. Chad Coleman still up in the mix in 6th spot. There you can see Byron Daly. Where the heck did he come from? Fresh tires on the 33, almost 3 wide. They're going to think better of it. They're not going to think better of it. 3 wide, Byron Daly down low, almost 4 wide. Kevin Brown going down below. But there comes Byron Daly. He's running in 7th. He's got his sights set on that top 5 on that podium on that 88 machine. He's going to come up high on on Chad Coleman. Get around him with ease, but now he's got 2 cars side by side in front of him. Threading the needle, going down low, 3 wide again, going into turn number 3.
Tell you what, he went from 10th to 9th to 7th to 6th, currently running right now in that 5th position. Underneath Mike Kelly, the 5 of Edson comes down and covers him, but he's been on the march. Those fresh tires, and the 93 has just been following him through. Here he is, Kevin King-esque to the outside of Trey Edson. He's going to go to 4th. On the charge, he's got 3 laps to do it. Can he get there?
Byron Daly moving himself up to 4th. Kevin Brown to 5th. They make a little 3 wide action all over the back bumper now of Daniel Falkingham, giving him a little bit of a shot, letting him know he's there, shooting down low. Not enough time for Falkingham to get down in front of him to throw the block. Popsicle sticks in the air. Nope, just kidding. 3 laps to go. And you can see Kevin Brown going around as well. Byron Daly now right on the back bumper of Joshua Williams. He's going to pass him like he's standing still with those fresh tires. Kevin, we're coming to 2 to go. Byron Daly's all the way up to 2nd. He's chasing down Kevin King, who's got about 40 laps on his tires.
Yeah, Kevin Brown followed him through. He's in 3rd position. They're like rocket ships coming up here. Will it be? It's hard to tell. Here he comes. P2 for Byron Daly. He's to the back bumper. He's there. He's got the charge. Out of turn 2, he draws low. He's going to come underneath Kevin King. He's got the speed. Byron Daly to the lead here at Nashville.
Kevin King doing everything he can try to do to hold on. He's going to slide on down in front of contact. Kevin King goes up high after contact with Kevin Brown. He's going to go all the way back to the bottom half of the top 10, losing a bunch of positions and lots of track position. White flag is in the air. Byron Daly holding on to the lead. He's got about a half a second of a lead over Kevin Brown on fresh tires. Kevin Brown has a little bit of sheet metal damage on the right side of that car. I don't think it's going to be enough time for Kevin Brown to catch back up. Byron Daly heads on down to turn number 3 with a special paint scheme for his team owner. Holding on to it. Cancer sucks, but victory is oh so sweet. The 33 going to be going down to victory lane here at Nashville Superspeedway for the very first time that this Cup Series has visited this track. Kevin Brown going to come up to him and give him just a little bit of a congratulatory bump. Kevin, what a finish!
I got to say, I could not have expected that. What an incredible charge. I think David Lanza was, just behind that car, pushing it all the way. And a poignant win for the 33 of Daly. And, got to give a nod to Kevin Brown. He also gave an incredible charge. I'm sure Kevin King's going to understand what happened there. But it's going to be Byron Daly for the win here at Nashville.
How about that? A lot of these drivers coming up and giving a congratulatory bump. You can see a bump from Chad Coleman, just a phenomenal race, a phenomenal drive all the way through the pack with fresh tires, with I didn't think there was enough time. I don't think either one of us thought there was enough time for Byron Daly to get all the way up through the field. But there you can say it. Get well Dave on the hood of that race car, burning what's left of those rear tires down and going to do a little bit of Polish victory lap. Nope, just kidding. He's going to keep burning those tires up.
What an incredible race. It was 11 cautions. It was a bit of a crash-laden race, but the finish did not disappoint. And Byron Daly, what a charge. Tire strategy all the way, Paul.
Absolutely. We knew there was going to be some kind of strategy working into the final part of this race, but did not think it was going to be tires, and there you have it. He comes home with the victory, and we're going to catch up with the top 3 drivers here in the post-race show, but we're going to take just a quick break, take a break, pay some bills. We'll be back momentarily to talk with those podium finishers here on the post-race show.
One of the biggest challenges of managing a fleet of trucks, tractor trailers, and material handling equipment, hassling with maintenance, repair, and vehicle breakdown. Transervice's dedicated contract maintenance service, DCM, takes that hassle away. We maintain your fleet, no matter what the configuration, to the highest standards, while giving you the greatest cost control. We offer preventative maintenance executed to maximum utilization, equipment life, and necessary repairs, all tracked by a state-of-the-art paperless computerized system. Assistance with equipment engineering, configuration, including new engine technology, and onboard computers for your fleet, as well as dedicated fleet contract maintenance. Dedicated on-site service facilities staffed with management and certified maintenance technicians, inventories of parts, tires, and fluids, and all necessary shop equipment, diagnostic tools, and technology. Supporting services such as equipment inspections and assistance with meeting regulatory requirements, DOT, OSHA, EPA. Contact us today to learn about our turnkey contract maintenance solutions. It's all about the experience, yours and ours.
How did EJ?
Back here live at Nashville Super Speedway. What a finish. There you can see the finishing order on your screen. Byron Daly, Kevin Brown making those tires work at the very end of this race. And EJ O'Rourke coming out of nowhere to finish in third. Joshua Williams and David Comstock rounding out the top 5. And you can see the top 18 and the rest of the finishing order going through your screen. But Kevin's down there in victory lane. He's caught up with the winner of this race. Where the heck did he come from? That 33 car of Byron Daly.
Down here in victory lane with Byron Daly, and Byron, their heart must be beating out of your chest. How the heck did you drive through the field with such speed?
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't realize that tires were going to work that much. I mean, this is really exciting. Like I told, my car owner, Dave Lanza, that I really wanted to get him a win, and it was really cool to do that with the Get Well Dave car. Like, Dave's been through some stuff recently, and like he's getting through it, and I just really wanted to get him a win and try to, raise his spirits with that. So that was really awesome.
We see Kyle running the Valvoline paint scheme. I think there's a little luck in that red color with the Valvoline on the back, but all skill, man. What I have to say, watching you pick and choose your lines, if anybody stalled you out, you weren't going to win that race. And there were times when there were cars too wide, and you just swung down to the bottom. You certainly signaled to everybody you were coming. You just knifed through the field. I'm still sitting here in amazement at that drive. Kevin Brown followed you through too. Were you aware of his presence?
Yeah, Kevin. Kevin actually let me know that to make the holes, he followed him through. So it was kind of nice of him to give me the space to try to figure it out, because it was actually really tricky. Because I didn't realize how much the tires were going to be worth, and every time I got to the center corner, guys were just checking up really bad. So really had to be decisive in where to go, because like you said, as soon as I had to check up for any of them, it was going to be game over. We were short on time there. So it was definitely, nip and tuck there for the last, how many laps that was.
A lot of cautions here tonight, kind of a surprise from that. You held yourself in that top 10 for most of the race, but certainly the winning move was changing those tires at the end. Were you confident when you went in to change tires that it would have resulted in this kind of finish?
Honestly, no. I just knew that was my only play. I saved a set of tires right there for the end of the race, just in case things got a little crazy. And it just so happened that we had that caution with just enough time to come through the field. So I thought maybe I can get a top 10 out of it, but I got to the top 10, and so I had about 5 laps left. I was like, oh, okay, so I guess we might have a chance at this.
Take us through that experience out of turn number 2, running side by side with Kevin King, where you pulled alongside and drove away and looked up in that rearview mirror.
Yeah, that felt pretty good. I mean, I feel bad for Kevin because, I've been on the other side of those deals before where there's really nothing you can do. Respect to him, because I thought he was going to block or do some crazy stuff and kind of make it more exciting. But he kind of, was pretty nice to me on that one. And, respect to him for the race he put up. But yeah, it did feel good. It was kind of the moment I knew that I was going to get a win today.
You almost have to wonder if, Kevin Brown wasn't so kind going by, and Kevin did a great job at holding that car out of turn 4 and keeping us from a caution. But did Kevin King give you the blueprint for this win? When he changed tires at one point and drove through the field as fast as you did you take note of that? We were wondering if drivers were writing that in the notebook.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Watching those guys, Kevin, and there was a couple other guys that did it too, how quickly they were able to come through the field. That's why I knew I wanted to have a set of tires for the end of the race, just in case. But you know how these things go. Sometimes they'll go green in the end, and it'll work out for those guys, and sometimes you'll get late yellow to kind of throw it back into your hands. And just so happened today, we had the late yellow that helped me out.
Yeah, so David Lanza, I raced with Dave. I've known Dave for quite a while. We raced back in the day, and he's had some good drivers in his cars. How long have you been running for Lanza Motorsports?
Honestly, just started this year. This is my first year in the Transervice Cup Series. So it just, Joey Katina helped out putting this deal together for me to drive for Dave. I was kind of looking to do this series at some point, and it worked out. So it was really cool to get teamed up with Dave. He's been at this for a long time. And again, I just wanted to get him a win, just to do it. And then on top of everything else, now I was really motivated to try to make sure that happened this year. And I'm glad that it finally did.
Falkingham, Gilliland, Diallo, Leah, Edson, Fuller. Look at the names of the winners here. You're going to add your name to that, and now you're in the championship hunt. How's that feel?
It feels really good. I'm telling you, the 550 stuff's been tough. So a 750, not quite mile and a half. It kind of reminded me of the Xfinity car. It's just, a little bit more horsepower, but it's just kind of like how I like to drive. And it was good. It was fun. So hopefully we can get another one of these during the year.
Well, you had Paul Strickland screaming. That's how exciting the race was. I was too, like little schoolgirls. So thank you for that excitement tonight. And I'll give you a moment. Who do you want to say hello to or give a shout out for the broadcast?
Yeah, just SIM500, Transervice. Again, Dave Lanza finally got that done. We got Valvoline on the car. Oh gosh, there's so many people that, put this league on, do all this stuff. And it's just thanks to everybody. It's, cool to finally come out on top of it.
There you go. You go celebrate this win. This was a pretty big milestone to watch this event tonight. You enjoy the broadcast when you get to see it back, and you tell Dave we're thinking of him. We're thinking good things for him, and thanks for an exciting race tonight.
Yeah, I'm certainly going to enjoy this one. Thanks, you guys.
I'm going to turn it over to Paul, who's been able to step out of the broadcast trailer and get over there and have a chat with Kevin Brown, second place finisher.
Yeah, down here with Kevin Brown, second place finisher, really showing how strong he is on super speedways. And Kevin, I don't think you and I have spoke since the SIM500 Verdane Racing Super Speedway, where you ended up in the final four. And man, you showed tonight just how strong you are on these super speedway tracks.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy how these things play out at the end. I think we can hang with them up there if we could qualify better on the weekdays, but. Luckily, we made the rock call tonight, and it worked out.
Definitely made it look easy on the end there. A little bit of luck, a little bit of experience, and a whole lot of tires. And just watching you in the 33 car of Byron Daly kind of slice and dice your way through the field here. I'll ask you the same thing Kevin asked Byron. Watching Kevin King come down for tires halfway through the track, or halfway through the race, rather. Watching him be able to do the same exact thing, kind of slice his way through the field and get it back up towards the front. Did that have anything in the late race decision to come down for fresh tires?
Oh yeah, definitely. When we saw him do that, we knew we wanted to just keep a set, just in case we were to have a late race caution like we did there. And it ended up, who knows, it worked out. Sometimes, most of the time it usually doesn't work out, but it finally worked out in our favor.
Yeah, and definitely made it look exciting there towards the end. And to finish up on the podium for the very first time, the SIM500 Transervice Cup Series comes to Nashville Super Speedway. Heading to Pocono, a little bit different, but kind of the same, sort of, next week. Have you got anything for the Tricky Triangle?
Well, we'll see. Pocono's not the best track on the schedule for me, but we'll definitely try to be up there, hopefully. Get a solid top 10, maybe top 5. We'll see where it goes.
Absolutely, and we know the Virtual 93 team doesn't do it alone. Give you an opportunity to thank all the friends, family, sponsors, teammates, and give a quick shout-out to that Twitch stream, too.
Yeah, of course. Twitch, Kevin DeBrown. Yeah, I wasn't streaming tonight. Usually I do, but wasn't not tonight. And Chris Kaboof Paint the Paint Scheme, and you guys putting on the broadcast, SIM500. And yeah, I appreciate it, guys.
Awesome run here tonight. Made it look exciting. Second place finish. We'll see you next week. Kevin sliding back over with a familiar name here, but where the heck did he come from this evening? E.J. O'Rourke finishing third.
Tell you what, Paul Strickland, I don't even know what to say. I can't remember the last time I even ran top 5 and I finished third. It's pretty nuts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, third.
Oh, there you go, Kevin.
There you go. Third place from, and I went and looked, 17th. EJ, and I know it was elbows up race for you, a lot of damage on that car. The interesting thing, and sorry to point this out to you, on your outside on that restart was Byron Daly and Kevin Brown. They were both able to get around you, I think, by sheer determination of having that outside lane, but still, to come from 17th to 3rd, and you passed the 95 about 100 yards for that 3rd position before the start-finish line. What a race.
Yeah, I think the old 95, I don't know, had a fuel pickup problem or something there off 4, but this personal comfort Chevrolet Camaro was fast, just could never get track position. I was in no way in shape or form a top 5 car, but I felt like I was, top 8 or 10 car, but just the way the cars put out the end, I had some damage from the about a halfway crash, and I figured the only way I'm going to get these guys is save a set of tires, and that's what I did, and Byron and I both had a set, and we bolted them on there 10 to go, and that's how we got first and third.
Yeah, an incident lap 64, an incident lap 139, and still to come back here for third with a charge through the field like that. It's pretty exciting. Thanks for doing that for us. We enjoyed that.
Good time. The league has done a really good job, and even through the pandemic and through this year it's struggled a little bit, but Joey Katina and everybody here and you guys, I appreciate you guys broadcasting this, and it'd be nice to hear my voice on the broadcast for once, and I really appreciate that. I really enjoy racing in here. There's a lot of good people in here, and I have a lot of friends here, and I'll be here for a while.
been a long night with all the cautions pushing quarter after 11, but one question I have for you. Give us a report card on this racetrack. How did you like this Nashville Speedway?
Nashville Super Speedway is a great racetrack. It's just with this Cup car, man, with the side suck and the draft package, it's really hard to get away from somebody, especially once you have to get to the top 5 or top 10. People can just put it on a quarter panel and pull you back on the straightaway, and that's kind of the deal that happened with Adam and I and Byron. We were just running tight. Running for a top 10 didn't go. It's just it's tough stuff, and but it is what it is. It happens sometimes. I mean, there's another 15 other yellows or so, and it's just we're one of the 15, I guess.
I think that's actually the character of this racetrack. Well, EJ, thanks for stopping by, and congratulations on the podium finish from 17th. You'll have to write that one down in your notebook, and we'll see you next week when we roll into Pocono.
I appreciate it, Kevin, and I just want to thank you and Paul and everyone for Dane for doing this, and really appreciate you guys taking the time and doing this, and I'm just glad my personal comfort Chevrolet finished up front.
There you go. EJ O'Rourke, third place finish here tonight, Paul. It was not the race I expected coming in, but man, what a finish.
Exciting race, an exciting finish, and great to see Byron Daly take that 33 Get Well Dave car into victory lane here for the first time we've been at Nashville Super Speedway, and holy moly. Finally got calmed down just a little bit. Lost my voice there on the call at the end of the race there, so exciting race. Going to be very excited to watch back the replay here, which you can do over on our YouTube page. Just do a quick search for Verdane TV. It pops right up. And if you've got the time, we've got 400 plus iRacing sim racing shows that we've put on in just over a year that we've been doing this, starting back in March of last year. And lots of racing all throughout the country, all throughout Canada. Lots of good stuff going on and lots of good stuff to come here on Verdane TV. Made mention that we're working on the Winter Series schedule, and it looks like we're going to be racing 7 nights a week here on Verdane TV. And as we get all of the schedules put together, we'll absolutely get that out on the social media outlets, the YouTube, the Facebook, the Twitter. We might even open up a TikTok. I'm not even sure yet. We'll see how that works out. Maybe we'll test it out just a bit. But taking a look at the upcoming schedule there, you can see Wednesday night. Haven't updated the graphic. The Fatheads Cup Series taking a little bit of time off. They'll be back with us with a new name, a new brand, Loose Lugnuts Racing, on Wednesday nights come the end of July, but we're still going to be doing an episode number 21 of Tim's Corner Live from Tim's Corner Motorsports, 7 o'clock Wednesday night and Thursday. The Multi-League Cup Series returns at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for another race on their schedule, and as always, Fridays during the summertime, we're unavailable because this guy right here is going to be at Stafford Motor Speedway working with the Rent a Race Car Group and hopefully the 39 late model, Paul Verricchio Jr., with a big wreck this past Friday night. Completely demolished the front end of that car, but the guys at the shop are jamming to get that thing put back together, so we'll see what happens there. But for everybody here with the SIM500 Transervice Cup Series, everybody here at Verdane TV, I am Showtime Paul Strickland Jr., alongside Kevin England here, calling this one in the books. It's late. We're going to go grab a couple ice-cold beers, and we'll catch you on the flip side when we do. We're going to be doing it live.